We'll do that again, shall we? I'm a mug and I was muted. I was just saying, good morning. Welcome to the Saturday deadline stream on the old Easter weekend. Big news, obviously, this week. Erling Haaland. Do we start him? Do we captain him? Do we transfer him in? All that jazz. I'll try and give you all the up-to-date information that I can across the stream. I've already got some stuff to share with you that might be useful. And yeah, we'll keep tabs on Twitter together, see what we do. If you've seen the poll, please vote in it. It's just a view of what you guys are up to, whether you're going to bring him in, whether you're not, or whether you've already got him. It looks like the vast majority so far are bringing him in. It's good to see Dakshin in the chat, mate. Hello. Thanks for letting me know I was muted. I realised as soon as I did it. I thought I was being clever that when I had like my starting screen, just in case I was doing something noisy, I would go on mute so no one could hear me, and then I forgot to turn it off. So yeah, but we did it again, so it's fine. Yeah, usual spiel really. I've got all the expected points data for all the players across the game, well, the top players across the game. I've done again a set of predictions, how I think the games are going to go. It's always good to just go through them and see what you guys think. We're all going to have different opinions on the score line, so yeah, it'd be interesting to call it. So yeah, let's get into it. So the old score predictions. Man United Everton is the first kickoff today. I do think Everton are going to give Man United a good game, but I just feel like the quality of Man United above Everton will probably come through, and I see Man United probably winning that 3-1. Villa v Forest. I think Villa win that one. Ollie Watkins again probably gets on the score sheet. I think Villa probably win that 2 or 3-0. I don't see Forest doing particularly well. Brentford Newcastle. I can see Brentford in Tony potentially scoring in that game. Although I don't think Tony's going to light the world up against Newcastle, which is one of the reasons I'm definitely thinking of bringing in Haaland. And I see Daxon, you've already asked. I think I'm going to bring him in for Tony, mate. Considering that he's pretty much due to get his yellow card at some point, and I think 10 yellows across the season is a 2 or 3 game ban. And then obviously he's got this betting scandal that's being investigated by the FA that's coming at some point. So I think it's only a matter of time before he gets a lengthy ban of some description. So yeah, for me, I'm going to get rid of Tony this week for Haaland. And I also think the Newcastle fixture is tough. I think he could score, but I just don't see him hauling. And that for me reduces the risk of getting rid of him. So yeah, I've gone, I think Liverpool, Newcastle will probably win that 3-1. Fulham West Ham, I think it's probably going to be something like 2-2. I think West Ham are absolutely fighting for their lives, and Fulham just seem to be on a little bit of a downer. I think just not having Mitrovic in their team really impacts them. I think they'll still score a couple of goals because West Ham are terrible. I'll probably end in a draw. I think Leicester have a little bit of a bounce under whoever takes charge of them this weekend, and I think they probably just edge it against Bournemouth. Brighton, I can see Brighton beating Spurs, although I can also see Harry Kane scoring a goal. So I've gone 3-1 in that game. Chelsea Wolves is probably going to be quite a cagey affair. I mean, both teams set up fairly defensively playing. I think Wolves still play 3 at the back. So yeah, I think Chelsea probably edge that one. And then Man City Southampton, I don't really see a way that Man City don't go absolutely mental in that game, to be honest. I'll probably be wrong and Southampton keep a clean sheet or something ridiculous. But yeah, I can only see that going one way really, and Man City doing really well, which is another reason why I think Erling Haaland's a great transfer, because I can see lots of goals for Man City in that one. The toughest one to call for me this week was Leeds and Crystal Palace. I don't really know how I see that one going. I put 2-1 Leeds, but I find that one really quite tough to predict. Obviously, both teams fighting for their lives in the league. I think it's going to be quite an interesting game, that one. Then Arsenal-Liverpool. I think Arsenal will just edge it. I see Daxion's message about it there. Yeah, I think Arsenal will just edge it, but I can definitely see goals for Liverpool in that game. Just Anfield is a different beast for Liverpool. Anfield, are a different beast, aren't they? So I can see them doing well in that one. I think Salah probably get amongst the goals, and I think without Saliba in defence for Arsenal as well, they're significantly weaker. I mean, they conceded to Leeds at home, so. But I just think Arsenal are too good to lose the game. But I do think they'll concede, excuse me, a couple of goals. So yeah, I reckon they'll probably win that one 3-2. Be interesting to see what you guys think in the chat though. But yeah, those are my score predictions for the week. And then I've got the top players according to my friends at DraftHound for expected points. So looking at goalkeepers and defenders, top of the tree this week is full of Man City players basically. Ederson is the top goalkeeper for expected points, closely followed by Villa's Martinez, David De Gea and Kepa. And then the top defender this week is actually John Stones, which is quite interesting. Although, like most Man City defenders, you don't really know if he's going to play. I think one of the factors, obviously, with Man City is they've got Bayern Munich midweek in the Champions League. So, is he going to play Stones at Southampton when he's got, a lot of other defenders that he could start? I don't know. I think Stones is quite injury prone as well, isn't he? So yeah, just playing lots and lots of minutes has a detrimental impact on Stones. So yeah, just remains to be seen really on that one. Trippier in second. I've got Trippier, so yeah, I'll be starting him this week. Followed by Dallo, which is quite interesting. Chilwell, Ake, Diaz, James, and then a few Villa defenders. But yeah, those are your top goalkeepers and defenders this week. And then on to midfielders and forwards. Obviously, these are the players with the top expected points because those are the most points-bearing positions. So top of the tree for midfielders is Rashford, 7.2 expected points with that Everton at home fixture, followed by 3 Man City players, Bruno Fernandes, Maddison, Saka, Salah, Martinelli, Barnes and Heung-min Son. And then top of the tree for the forwards and overall is Haaland on 7.8, followed by Kane, Isaac, Watkins, Jesus, Tony. I actually really like Gabriel Jesus as an option at the moment. For people that aren't tripled up on Arsenal, which you probably won't be, to be fair, after game week 29, I think he's a really good option. He's pretty much nailed in that team, isn't he? And I feel like his ownership amongst teams that are actually still playing the game, obviously he was very popular at the start of the season, so his ownership's going to be skewed by teams that have just picked him from the start and then stopped playing the game. But I think he's a great option. I think there's goals to come for him for the rest of the season. And yeah, I just really like him as an option. The only problem is, who do you sell for him? I mean, most people would be going Tony to Haaland this week. Kane, do you want to sell Kane for Jesus? Probably not. Do you want to sell Watkins for Jesus? Probably not at the moment. So it's a really tough one to get him in, but I really do like him as an option. And I think he could be a nice differential. Next, I just had the odds for scoring a goal, basically, or being involved in a goal. And it's no surprise seeing like the top expected points list that Haaland is top of both. So he's top of the goal scoring percentage and top of the goal involvement percentage as well. Over 60% chance of scoring a goal, and then 73% chance of being involved in a goal, which is pretty ridiculous. And for me, like just seeing these numbers just fuels the argument really to give him the armband. And then Rashford in second for goal scoring odds, Kane, Jesus, Daka, Salah, Watkins, Isaac, Weghorst, Mahrez and Fernandes. And then De Bruyne in second for goal involvement odds, followed by Rashford, Maddison, Kane, Fernandes, Salah, Grealish, Mahrez, Watkins, Barnes. Interested to see Harvey Barnes in and around those lists. I think the Leicester players are backed to do quite well against Bournemouth. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to be starting Maddison. And you'll see my team in a second. I've got a bit of a benching headache this week, and I might need I'd appreciate some of your guys' thoughts really in the chat, to be honest. And we'll get onto that in a sec. It's always useful just to look at the clean sheet odds as well, I find. But based on the fact that their defenders and goalkeepers are top of the list, Man City top the way in terms of clean sheet odds. They're 55% to keep a clean sheet this week, followed by Man United, interestingly, although I don't personally think they're going to keep a clean sheet against Everton. I don't think Man United are actually that good defensively. I just think, especially in the last couple of recent games, but I just think going forward they can outscore most teams. So, yeah, I'm not sure they'll actually keep a clean sheet in that one. And Everton tend to usually do quite well against Old Trafford historically. Like, regardless of the way they play or their manager, they always seem to show up. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that goes. Villa in third. Leicester, interestingly, 44% to keep a clean sheet against Bournemouth. Yeah, I don't know about that one. We'll see. Chelsea, Leeds, Newcastle, Fulham and West Ham round out the teams above 30%. I usually write a rule on these kinds of stats that any team sort of below 30% to keep a clean sheet, you can't really rely on it. So, yeah, for me, I'd back defenders with a greater than 30% chance for clean sheet. And then the big captaincy decision this week. This is an interesting one because, I've not got a particular feature on Haaland, whether you bring him in or not. But I think, if you're free hitting in game week 32, when Haaland has a blank, I think it makes sense this week to bring him in and captain him. But if you're not free hitting in 32 or you've already used it, you're bringing in Haaland just to either bench or sell him in game week 32, which I don't think is the best move. Or if you're taking a hit for him, I probably wouldn't take a hit for him either. I would just keep him out of your team for the time being and captain Rashford. I don't think there's much in it in the expected points. And yeah, just the underlying numbers I don't think quite match it. Whereas for me, I've got a free transfer and enough money in the bank to get Haaland in for Tony. And it was in my original plan when I put my wildcard team together to leave enough cash for Haaland. So yeah, for me, I'm going to be bringing him in. But I would say based on these expected points, that I don't think Rashford captain is the worst idea in the world if you were restricted on being able to bring Haaland in. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if you guys go on any differential captains this week. If you're not going for Haaland, for example, let me know in the chat who you're thinking of going for. But yeah, that rounds out like the top players for expected points this week. I do quite like the Man City midfielders as well. Like I think Grealish is probably going to play. But yeah, I think you've really got to go for Watkins. I don't mind Watkins, to be fair. I know he's not on this list for expected points. Let's see where he actually is. 5.3, so he's nearly there, isn't he, to be fair. But I really like him. I like that. I don't think, especially away from home, Forest are pretty terrible, so yeah, I don't mind that at all. And yeah, Watkins is in absolutely the form of his life, so yeah, I like that, mate. This was DraftHound's ideal 11 for the game week based on expected points. So basically it just mimics the top players for expected points, but picks a team within the 100 million budget. So this is what DraftHound is saying is the best team this week for 100 million, which I don't think is too bad. I think Daction, mate, it completely depends on your team. Mine is pretty much completely fucked if I don't play my free hit in 32. I've got, I think I'll have 6 or 7 players with a blank. So I really have to play my free hit. But if you can navigate 32 with like 10 players, say, then I don't mind it. And also, the thing is, with Game Week 34 as well, it's a double game week for, I believe it's Man United, Man City, Liverpool and Brighton. They all double in 34. I might be mistaken, and that's basically half of my FPL team. So I'm well set up for those 2 doubles coming up. So I don't need to free hit in those weeks. Whereas 32, I'm not set up for, so that's the time I'm going to play it. But if your team, if you feel like your team is okay to deal with Game Week 32, then absolutely play your free hit at a different time. I think it's more team dependent than definitely not a hard and fast rule for when to play it, mate. Speaking of my team, here it is. I've put Haaland in here at the moment. Because I've not actually transferred him in yet. I'm going to wait till closer to the deadline if we get any more news, but that's how I'm looking at the moment. And my benching headache, I've got Solly March on my bench at the moment, which just feels so wrong considering how good he's been. But I can't justify starting him ahead of any of the other players in my team. So yeah, I'd be interested to see what you guys think. Should I start March? I don't think I can. I don't think I can get away with it. I think the rest of the players I've picked there are better. But it's going to be painful, isn't it, when Matoma blanks in March scores and I lose the Brighton lottery. But yeah, I think I'm going to have to go with that. Thank you, Daction, mate. And yes, I will have a look at your team once I get through the content I've got. That's not a problem at all. And then I had some Man City team news. Just some, Erling Haaland tweeted a picture of himself in training saying tomorrow is match day, so he must know something. And then Disable Luke, a very good Man City lineup predictor. He thinks that Haaland is going to play limited minutes, 60 to 70 minutes, or in an unlikely scenario, probably a cameo off the bench. But for me, that's enough to bring him in for Tony and probably captain him, because really he only needs half a game to score a brace or a hat trick, doesn't he? So yeah, I'm not too worried about the minutes. I think he's a great option this week. And that's his predicted Man City team, for anyone wondering. And then this is from a Twitter account called Jump the Wave. It's a Man City team prediction. Basically, as you can see, every Man City player here has got a percentage under their name for their likelihood to start. And there are 20 devoted Man City fans that vote on their team every week. They put in an 11 Emma, Jump the Wave, puts it into a spreadsheet and then combines their prediction with a number that basically as a multiplier that factors in their accuracy in previous weeks. Hopefully I've explained that to make sense. So it's their prediction plus how accurate they've been in the past, which gives a final percentage figure on a player's likelihood to start. And Haaland is at 77% at the moment. I think she was saying on Twitter that she did the poll, or she asked people to submit their teams in the morning yesterday. And I think there's been, Pepper said that Haaland is fine, and lots of things have happened during just Friday alone to probably enhance those odds as well. So we'll visit those a bit later on as well, just to see if they've gone up. But for me, I think Haaland's going to start, and most of the Man City crew are suggesting the same. Right, we was going to have a look at a team, weren't we? That was it. Action, mate, share with me your team, and I will have a quick gander at it for you. I've got Draft Hand open. Let's have a look. Hope everyone's doing good in the chat, by the way. Feel free to say hello. All you guys with your dodgy team names, eh? Have you made any transfers so far, pal? Also, I got some new glasses in the week, and I usually, I don't know if any of you guys are glasses wearers, but you can get like an anti-glare coating on them, and I forgot to order it for these, so hopefully they're not too glary when I look at like my ring light and my screen. I think they're okay, to be fair, but yeah, they're just a bit glinty and glary, or a bit more so than my last pair. This is Dakshin's team. Yeah, I like it. What would I do in terms of my transfers? You've got your free hit available, and you were thinking of playing it later on, which I probably would, to be fair. I probably would play it later on. Yeah, of course, Mark, no problem. I would probably do Tony. I'd probably do this. I'd probably do Felix to Haaland. Why is it not letting me go for him? It's broken it. I guess the question is, like, is that a more points profiting transfer? I guess it is if you're going to captain Haaland. I was just going to say your other transfer is probably getting rid of Luke Shaw, because I know he's not long-term injured, but he's got a blank in 32 and he's done his hamstring, so he's probably not going to play this week. So I guess, yeah, the question is, do you get rid of, like, Luke Shaw, or just keep... I'd probably just stick him, to be fair, then you just take whoever comes off the bench. I think I'd do Felix to Haaland, mate, as my move. I just prefer Tony as an option to Felix, and then Tony will play this week regardless of what happens. And then if he gets a ban and he gets a yellow card, I'd probably transfer him out just next week. Maybe you could go for Jesus. I don't mind that as a shout, actually. Maybe, yeah, if Tony actually gets a ban, you could go for Gabriel Jesus. I quite like that, actually. So no, that's my immediate thoughts of your team anyway, mate. Never know what you think, but yeah, I would definitely do. I think I'd do Felix to Haaland this week, and pray that Tony doesn't get a ban. And if he does, go Tony to Jesus, and then Haaland, Watkins, Jesus. I think is a very nice front three, and Jesus being a bit differential. I think, considering you're not tripled up on Arsenal already, I think that's a really nice option to me. Kinder and Buemo next. Hopefully that helps you, Dakshin, mate. Blimey, there's so many teams called Kinder and Buemo. Bloody hell. Just seeing if I can find your name. I know Chelsea have a relatively easy fixture, but I just feel like Tony is almost... I don't think he's going to haul v Newcastle, don't get me wrong, but I just think Tony's a better option. I'm just not seeing enough from Felix, basically. But if you have a real feeling about Felix this week over Tony, then you can probably sell Tony. I don't think there's too much in it. I just don't particularly like Felix. I just think Chelsea have such a problem scoring goals at the moment. Maybe that will change under Lampard, but I'm not sure he's going to change it in the space of a few days. Mark, I'm just looking for your teammate. Is your name actually Mark? Because I can't find it on the list. Unless I've missed it and I'm being blind. Can I search Mark on the list? Does that work? Yeah, ID might be helpful, mate. Didn't realise there were so many people with the Kindle and Bummo. Team name. That's really annoying. It won't let me click the link. Hang on, mate. We'll try Draft Hand on a different browser. I'll just switch screens a second so I don't show everyone my login. Haaland on bench is the rumour. Where have you seen that, Jill Legs? I'd be interested to see who said that. Oh, it's 333. Yeah, no worries. It wouldn't let me. I'll try 333 on my other browser, but it wasn't liking. It wasn't liking the search, unfortunately. See, I'm searching it. Oh, you can't see that. I'm searching it, mate, but it's just not showing up. Right, let's try again. There he is. Find you. That took a little while. Hello, NCK Footy, mate. Hope you're doing well. My computer is working overdrive at the moment. It's making lots of fan noise. Hopefully it doesn't pick up too much on the mic. Okay. Just check him out. That's your team, isn't it? I think. Yeah, NCK Footy. That's no problem. Okay, put Erling for Tony. Alright, so he's done that. Don't fancy Kepa starting. Okay, Kepa down to Iverson. Interesting. So this is your team. I'm guessing you're starting De Gea. I think you have to do. I think I'd start March over McAllister because I feel there's a bit of a risk of McAllister playing deep this week. And just every time I watch bloody Solly March play or the highlights of a Brighton game, it looks like he could score 2 or 3 goals a game. So yeah, I'd probably do that. And then obviously you do that and that. That's a lovely team for this week, isn't it? I think. Well, actually, I would probably do that as well, so you're not doubled up on Newcastle. Because Villa are back to do quite well this week, and I think Forest at home, they probably could keep a clean sheet. So I quite like that team. That's how I'd go, Mark. I think that's probably what you're on as well. You've got a couple of benching headaches there, but I know March is less expected points than McAllister, but I think he's probably a better option. I think there's a genuine risk that McAllister, I think he might get subbed early as well. Just the minutes he played on international duty, the fact he played last week as well. I think probably March is a better option. And then if it doesn't work out, it's relatively coin flippy anyway, so you can't get too upset, I don't think. And then, yeah, I'd probably play Mings over Botman, just to reduce the risk of Newcastle conceding, which I think they could do. Brentford away is a tough fixture. I could see Tony doing at least scoring a goal in that game. Whereas Forest away from home are terrible, and I think Villa under Emery could keep a clean sheet in that one. So, yeah, that's probably the way I'd play it. NCK Footy. I don't remember your team name, but I'm pretty sure I just search NCK Footy and it's there. I can't remember your team name. It's NCK Footy. I'll have a look, mate. So you've done Tony to Haaland as well. I think that's the move everyone's making this week, isn't it? Yeah, then we've got exactly the same team. Exactly the same team, player for player. I think we probably said this last week. Yeah, that's what I'm doing with my team this week. I'm playing Mitoma over March, but it's really painful decision that. But this is the team. I don't have Henry, to be fair. I can't remember who I have instead. But yeah, we pretty much got player for player the same team, and that's how I'm rolling this week. I've got Zinchenko, sorry, instead of your Henry. It's a nice team, mate. It's a lovely team. I think Haaland must have gone up in price, yeah. It's saying you've got minus 0.1 in the bank. Either that or there's something going wrong with calculating the team values. Don't know. I'm going to just have a check, see if Haaland did actually go up in price. Doesn't matter to me, because I think I've got enough to bring him in. That'd be frustrating if I don't, wouldn't it? He's gone up to 12.1, whatever that means. So yeah, I've just got enough to bring him in. Ooh, it's tight for me. Yeah, sounds like you've done well then. You've beaten the price rises and drops, mate. You've done well there. Because, yeah, it seems to think you can't afford to bring him in. Obviously, you have, so that's a lie. But, yeah. Go back to my team now, if that's all right, chaps. I'm in the top 200k now. I'm hoping for a top 100k finish this season. Last week definitely helped me a lot. My bench boost went really well. Bench order. I do exactly what bench I've got on screen at the moment, mate. I've not pressed the reset button, so I think that's still your team on screen. Captaincy's got to be Haaland for me. I think if you've brought Haaland in, you're backing him to play and do well. So yeah, I'd put him on. I'd put him as my captain, and then bench owner would be that one. I think that's how I play my bench. Just as it is there. Oh, it's messed my team up now. Look at that. No, I think I'd play Estupinian because I think their clean sheet likelihoods is similar, in my mind at least, and I think Estupinian's got a much better chance of an attack in return. So I think I'd play Estupinian over Botman. If you look at the expected points, there's barely anything in it. So I think I'd favour the more attacking one because Botman you really only score points for clean sheets with. And Newcastle, to be fair, aren't really keeping clean sheets at the moment. I know they kept one against United, but I think that was like their first one in 8 games. And then they conceded again, didn't they, in their last fixture? West Ham, wasn't it, they played? Yeah, Haaland did rise by the looks of it. He's not going to rise. There's going to be no more price rises this morning, right? That's it, locked in. Because otherwise I am sending it on Haaland because I won't be able to afford him otherwise. I've got 0 in the bank. God, if Tony went down and Haaland rised, I would be fuming. I probably wouldn't Alexandru, but that's my opinion. I don't think it's the worst play in the world because I think Watkins is in great form at the moment. Yeah, I don't see it as the worst move in the world. It's just not something I would do. But I don't think, yeah, I think it's an option. Definitely. Right, so you have a scroll of the old Twitter, see if there's any news. I'm not too sure on Ben Rama, mate. Not too sure on him. He obviously takes the penalties, but West Ham just aren't very good. I think the only one I take from West Ham is Bowen still. I know he's not on the pens like Ben Rama is, but I just watch him every game and he looks like he could almost score. You think 3-hit 34 is the best move? What's your thinking behind that? I'm just looking at... Hang on, let me get my team back up. So I'm looking at all the players that will be in my team that blank. Oh, it's the wrong screen. So we're getting HAALAND, aren't we? So all the players in my team that have got a blank. So it's Rashford, Mitoma, HAALAND, March, Estupinian, Chilwell. I've got... Yeah, I know. So that means I have to... If I've got 7 that are blanking out of, what? 13 outfield players. I think 3-hit 32 is the best move for me. That's what I think at the moment. Because then you think of the double in 34. I'll pull up my slides. I haven't got them actually ready, to be fair, but just pull the fixtures up a second. Bear with. I'm just going to make a little screen for the fixtures. Chilwell, Mings / White, Chilwell. Wolves away is a good fixture. I think Chelsea could keep a clean sheet in that one. And he's the most attacking of the 3. Second place would probably be Mings. I could see Aston Villa keeping a clean sheet in that one. And then Ben White, I don't really think he doesn't get many attacking returns. And I see Arsenal conceding to Liverpool in that one. It's at Anfield. I don't see any way that Liverpool don't score in that game, basically. Here goes an insight into my into my FPL graphics there. So yeah, my team's got loads of Brighton, Chelsea, Man City and Man United players in it. They blank in 32 and then play in 34. They got double. So I think for me, I'd rather free hit in 32 and use my free transfers to build a better team for 34. That's just the way I'm thinking at the moment, because I'm not sure I'd buy too many Man City players because I just don't know who would play both those games in the double. But I do fancy Salah, so I'll probably sell Kane for Salah and maybe buy someone else. Yeah, unless I'm being completely blind to something, I think that's how I'm going to play it. Thoughts on Kepa? I think he's fine, mate. I just don't see Mendy as an option for Chelsea. And I think performances have not been good enough. Like, if they were, 50-50 for who was going to start and then Lampard came in, I'd probably say Mendy will do okay. But Mendy's just dropped off a cliff in terms of his playing ability and form. So I see Kepa. That's all I see, really. Yeah, I think Kepa's absolutely fine in my opinion. And Chelsea are really good for clean sheet odds this week as well. I think Wolves are a good team for clean sheets against. 3 from Liverpool, 3 from United, 1 from City, 1 West Ham, 3 Brighton. Is that what you're saying should be the ideal lineup? Thing for me is with Liverpool as well is there's always rotation. Now they've got Jota, Diaz, Firmino, Salah and Nunez. There's going to be rotation in that front 3. So other than Salah, can you back any of those front 3 to start both games? I don't think you can. And then do you want to pick a Liverpool midfielder? Probably not. Do you want to pick a Liverpool defender? I mean, maybe. But it doesn't, fill me with excitement. So I think I'd only want Salah really for that one. 3 Brighton is a definitely. Same with United. I think yeah, triple United is fine. City, I'd only want 1 from Man City. Similar argument to Liverpool, really. Maybe Grealish and Mahrez could play both. Maybe De Bruyne as well. But are they going to play both games? Do you know what I mean? I think 34 on paper looks a good double, but I think there's a lot of doubts around players and minutes that week. Unish, if your team's anything similar to mine, then Daxane and I are just having a little chat about it, really. I would probably free hit in 32, especially if you've got lots of players that blank. I think it absolutely makes sense to free hit if you've got lots of players that blank. And then 34, I don't know. We'll go back to it. We'll go back to the fixtures. 34 is like... on paper, it's a good double, all right? But you think of the teams that are actually got it. So Fulham have got Man City and Liverpool. You're not really going to pick Fulham players for that. Brighton, fine. You probably already got 3 of them. Liverpool, like I was saying with Daxon there, like Salah, obviously, is a great option. But then outside of Salah, who can you back that plays both games? Obviously, probably Robertson and Trent do. Even Trent's not been playing recently. And they're not very good defensively. Man City, you'd go for Haaland and captain him. But again, is he going to play both games? Then outside of Haaland, who from Man City can you back to play both of those fixtures? Probably Ederson. I might go for Ederson as my goalkeeper. But outside of Ederson, don't think so. Man United is easier to predict. I think if Luke Shaw's back fit, he plays both. Rashford obviously definitely plays both, as does Bruno. Then West Ham, Palace, Man City, is that really that good a double? I think if you've got Man City mixed in with a double game week, that's basically a single game week. I don't know. I feel like I've just shat on double game week 34, but I don't think it's that exciting. Kane to Haaland for free, or Maddison to Grealish and Havertz to Haaland for -4, keeping Kane. Yes, toast. Let's see. Hopefully that pronunciation was correct. It would depend on your free hit when you've got your free hit, in my opinion, because obviously Kane doesn't blank in 32. So the -4 is a good... Yeah, I think it depends if you're free hitting in 32. If you let me know if you're free hitting, it probably makes it a bit easier to advise. But again, I don't think there's anything hard and fast really there. Yeah, you're free hitting 32. I'm just not sure I'd sell Maddison ahead of Bournemouth at home. I can completely see your dilemma, mate. It's tough. And yeah, Alan, you're absolutely right. That's the reason I'm doing it, mate. I've not actually got Haaland in my official team yet. I'm just hovering over transfer him in, but I do have Tony, and for that exact reason, he's getting a ban soon, and he's got Newcastle this week. And whilst I don't think he probably could score 1 goal against Newcastle, but I don't think Newcastle is a team he's going to haul against. So even if Tony does well and Haaland doesn't start, I don't think it's going to hurt me too much. Oh, toast, mate. That is so tough. That's really, really tough. I think there's probably a different player you can get rid of than there must be, because Maddison, I think, is a good option this week. I'm really struggling with that one, mate. And then also Maddison doesn't blank in 32. But he does have Man City next. I think Maddison to Barnes is like a luxury sideways move that feels a bit pointless. I guess the question for you, Toast, is I'm not going to, because it's your team, so I'm not going to give my opinion on it. But are you like, who do you think is the best captain this week? Do you absolutely want to captain Haaland? Or do you think he's going to get reduced minutes, which means someone like Rashford is better? And if that was the case, I think you could probably get away with not bringing him in. But if you're like heavily backing Haaland to do well this week, I think you need to find a way to get him in, because if he does well and you don't buy him, you'll be absolutely kicking yourself. So yeah, let me know what you think about Haaland, whether you'd be comfortable captaining someone else. Because I think you'd only take a hit if you're absolutely going to captain Haaland this week. If you feel like you could get away without captaining him, then maybe you could go without him. But probably Kane to Haaland probably makes sense. But then you could just leave it. Yeah, interested to know your thoughts on captaincy, Toast. I can offer some advice on that as well if you need it. What was your question about Maddison NCK footy, mate? Yeah, I'm just not sure. Oh, Maddison's injured, is he? I'll have a quick gander on Twitter, but I didn't know that. This is news to me if he is. Obviously, all the news has been about Haaland. I don't think he's injured. Just rumours of him to Spurs. I'll search Maddison injury. It doesn't look like he's injured. Oh no, Harry's saying it. Maddison should be fit. So this is the interim boss Adam Sadler press conference this week. So we'll just have a look through the quotes. No, he's not said anything. So what I'm seeing is a lot of, fair enough, a lot of people saying he's injured, but it's not come from a reputable account. Ah, there we go. So this was 6th of April, so what, 2 days ago. There you go. No new injuries. Maddison is okay. And this is Rob Tanner, football writer for the athletic correspondent for Leicester, saying that Maddison is okay. So I'd say that's basically as good as you can get, mate. Thanks for highlighting that, though, because I didn't even know that was a rumour. So, yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. Unish, I saw your thing there. Triple Liverpool and City might be it might be a huge differential, but Tottenham and Fulham, like, I think Mitrovic is going to be out for that one, isn't he? When does his ban finish? I think it's 8 games, isn't it? I could just see Fulham scoring against Liverpool, and then I can also see Tottenham scoring against Liverpool too. So, you know what I mean? I completely I see your point on Liverpool defence, but I can't get too invested in it. And then as for the front three of Liverpool, like, other than Salah, who hasn't even, because it might have been a Ramadan thing, which is obviously, I don't know. I don't know why he didn't play 2 in a row this week, why he got benched for the second game of the double. Oh, I think 34 is when we get to 34, really. I think I'm already decided on 32, and then we'll play by ear how we get on in 34, I reckon. Hello, Izana. Hopefully I pronounced your name correctly there, mate. Do you see if there's any Haaland stuff? Let's have a gander, shall we? Start March or Odegaard? Ooh. Right. So, my friend. My friend. It should be here somewhere. Here we are. So if you're new to this stream, I help out FPL managers in the only way I know how, when they've got a 50-50 decision to make on their team. Because I think March versus Odegaard is really tough. I wouldn't captain Salah this week, Feezy. I will put on a slide, just a second. There you go. I'd captain players on that list. These are the top players for expected points this game week, according to Draft Hound. I think Watkins is in with the shout, who's not on this list. But other than Watkins, I don't think there's anyone not on this list that I would captain this week. Izana, so I've got a coin here. This is the Indonesian coin of truth. So I went on holiday to Bali during the winter, and I took home a coin with me. And this has been helping FPL managers for the last couple of months make their 50-50 decisions. I don't have a record of how accurate the coin of truth has been. I'll let anyone in the chat who's had their decision made by the coin report back. But as far as I'm concerned, the coin of truth is never wrong. So what we'll do is we'll assign a side of the coin. I'm glad you enjoyed that. So Solly March is going to be the number side, and then Odegaard is going to be that side, and then whoever it lands on, you start. Solly March, mate. And to be honest, like, I feel that's so 50-50 because, mate, go 2 out of 3 times. Decent. But genuinely though, like, sometimes when you have a call, and I know it's sort of a bit tongue-in-cheek, but when you have a call that's that 50-50, there's no information that can help you. Let's just see we can have a look at what Odegaard's expected points are actually, because I don't have him to review it. So yeah, 5, but I feel like that decision's so 50-50, you just need someone to take it out of your hand, so that's hopefully what I did. Chilwell to Mings, Havertz to Haaland for a -4 this week. You're free hitting in 34. I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm not sure I like that, mate. Reason being is that you're taking out Chilwell, who blanks in 32, but you're bringing in another player that blanks in 32. I think if you have someone like I just don't think it's worth you bringing in Haaland. I think you could probably go without Haaland. And I know this week it might hurt you, but I think long term that's the best thing for your team. Based on what you've just said to me, there might be other ways to get him in, but I think those moves in particular, I'm not sure I'd do them. Because I'm not sure Chilwell to Mings, Havertz to Haaland is worth, you need that to be at least profitable with 4 points. I'm not quite sure it is. I'm not saying it's a bad idea, definitely not, but I'm just not sure I'd do it. Use it for Salah or Watkins. Yeah, of course. Salah, this side. Watkins. That was Watkins, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure. Oh, get it pointing in the right direction. Yeah, it was Watkins, wasn't it? That's the way I'd play it as well, to be fair. The coin agrees with me. I would go Ollie Watkins. I think the fixture is so much better for Villa, and like the upside of both the players is the same, to be fair. Like, I think Watkins 90 minutes pretty much on penalties, got a really good fixture. Obviously Salah's a better player, but he's got a much tougher fixture. I just think Watkins he's better than Salah this week in my opinion. Coin's going well, mate. Been used a couple of times. It's never wrong, so there's never really a question of how the coin's doing. It's never wrong. You can never question it, Yeah, mate, happy to do a captaincy flip, but you have to give me a couple of players to choose between. I've also got a spin the wheel as well. I usually do a spin the wheel, which will get going. So this was last week's captaincies. So if we do, who have we got? Who are captaincy shouts this week? So I just got to put this on screen so I can see the captaincy options. Haaland, KDB, Rashford, Kane, Watkins, Salah. So this is my list of potential captaincy options. Yeah, hopefully you can see that. Is there anyone else that I've missed on that list that you want adding? Sorry, that was probably a bit noisy. I hit my mic boom then. Yeah, let me know if you want me to add anyone to that list that I've forgotten about. But I think that's a pretty conclusive list of the best captaincy options this week. But yeah, shout if I've missed anyone. Saka, you want to go Saka in there? Yeah, don't hate that, to be fair. I'm in agreement that he's an option. Let's go with that. So if anyone comes in and says, who should I captain that's not Haaland, we all respond with the response of the wheelofnames.com random wheel generation of accuracy. Maddison, you think he's a shout? Okay, let's go with him. Oh, Maddie on. I think that's pretty much it. Like, you could have other Arsenal players, but I think Saka's the strongest of the Arsenal lot, isn't he? You got Salah in there to cover Liverpool off. Plenty of Man City players. Rashford and Bruno. Yeah, Bruno. I know Bruno G's not an option, is he? But I think that's the list. Let's go with that. Let's see what it says. Yeah, I like that. Coin flip between the two. So Kane number 1. Right, so okay, yeah, I like the coin and spin the wheel option. Wow, it's landed on Kane twice. So I mean, I don't think I need to do the coin, do I? Is this a random wheel? It's just landed on the same guy twice. Let's try it again. If it lands on Kane again, it's broken. Okay, yeah, the wheel's broken. Maybe if we do some swapping of the names around. Oh no, it's landed on Watkins that time. I feel like it's got a bias. Let's try it. I'm going to try it again. I feel like it's got a bias to always land there. Try it one more time. If it lands like Kane or Watkins again, we'll know it's not completely fair. Yeah, fine, okay. Right, okay, I'll change the wheel. So I know I've just rolled it a number of times. I'll shuffle it. I think you're right. If I shuffle it, that changes it, doesn't it? I think that resets it. So the first one was Kane. I feel like the wheel is fixed when you roll it once, if that makes sense. With the names in the order they are, I don't know. So I'm going to roll it again. This is the second spin for the coin flip. So Kane is the first one. We'll try it again. So this is an independent coin spin. Okay, so it's between Kane and Bruno Fernandes. Okay, so this side we're going to go Kane. This side we're going to go Bruno. I don't think any of them are good captaincy shouts this week, by the way. It's what the Wheel of Fortune has said. So we say Kane and then Bruno. It's Harry Kane. I don't feel too comfortable about captaining Harry Kane against Brighton, but there you go. That's what the wheel says. I do see Kane scoring against them, to be fair. Would you do Fernandes down to Maddison and Haaland in for Tony? Sidemen shorts? I'm not sure I would do that, no. No, I don't think that's worth it. I don't think it's worth it. I think, is there anything else in your team that you could, anywhere else in your team you could make improvements? Oh, that's a triple threat of doom there. I would probably go Zuma of that lot. Izana, I don't hate Watkins as captain, mate. I'll get off the Wheel of Fortune now. I don't hate him as captain. I can't remember. Did you say you were bringing in? The chat's gone for me now. Did you say you were bringing in Haaland? Because if you don't have Haaland, I think Watkins is fine, absolutely fine shout. I don't actually think the expected points are quite reflecting how Watkins could do this week, to be fair. I think he's a great option. So no, I think he's a good shout. Saka, Martinelli and double Brighton mids with 2 free transfers. What transfers can I make? Steve, if you send me your FPL team name, I can load it up on this draft hound that I've got on screen at the moment, and we can have a look at your team. But like, I wouldn't sell any of them. Like Saka, Martinelli, double Brighton midfielders, I think is great, and you think about it, I think Martinelli this week is a really good option. Whether or not he plays, I guess, is the question. But like he's up against Trent, who's just been a defensive calamity this season so far. So I don't mind. I just keep him. I think Arsenal will score 2 or 3 goals against Liverpool. I think they're good enough to, and I think Liverpool are bad enough defensively. What about rolling a transfer this week? But when should I get Haaland? I think Haaland's probably for 30. Either next week, Leicester at home is another good fixture in good time, and you probably wouldn't need to take a hit to bring him in. It just depends what situation your team is. Hang on, you've explained that to me there. It's 2 United that blank in 32, 2 Chelsea that blank in 32, Saka, Mitoma that blanks, Estupiñán that blanks, Shaw that blanks, Watkins. Fair enough, Daction, mate. I don't think there's too much between Felix and Tony. If that's how you feel, then go for it. I never like to push people away from decisions they seem pretty sure about. Because you said at the start that I think you just have a general feeling that getting rid of Felix is the right thing to do. And I think that's fine. I don't think there's enough in it for me to say anything too harshly, to be honest. Because the last thing I want to do is like influence you to make a decision that's totally different to what you wanted to do, and then it not pay off because you won't be happy because you've not gone with what you think. Yeah, your question, Shark. So Leicester at home next week's a great fixture, but then Man United have got Forest away, so you could captain Rashford. And then Liverpool have Leeds too, so I don't think you have Salah, but he's an option. You probably get away with no Haaland until 33. Or maybe you could free hit him in 34 and then buy him in 35 properly. But I just feel like if you're not planning to use your free hit in 32, logically you don't need to buy him these next couple of weeks. I think you could get away with it. There are definitely people that are doing that. I have 2 free transfers. Should I do Botman to Diaz? I've got nothing else to do. I think there's a better move you can make than that. Because no, I think that's pointless, really. I don't think Diaz is that good an option. I'm just going to have a look at Twitter now, James, mate. We'll flash it up and have a gander. So this is I've got a list here of reliable FPL team news accounts. Morning, Ben Vlogs. Good to have you in the stream again, mate. It was always good to have you. I don't think we've got any, because this is like my list of reliable team news accounts. I'm not sure I'm seeing any. I like that, Shark, mate. I think that works quite well. It's just, obviously, you're going to be watching the games from behind the sofa, but I think in the long term, that's a better plan for your team. Like, I know Haaland's good, and I also think next week against Leicester, he's got Bayern Munich midweek for the Champions League. He's obviously, and even if he starts this week, he's not going to play 90 minutes to, sort of prioritise the Bayern fixture. Then depending on how he gets on in that, I mean, it's obviously not going to go to extra time because it's a 2-legger, but I do think that, that could affect his minutes v Leicester as well. So, over these next 2 weeks in the Premier League, I think Haaland's going to play reduced minutes. So I think there is a case just not to go with him. I don't know about Shaw's injury. I think, are you putting up that predicted? Yeah, I'll do that now, mate. Should you have a gander? See what she's saying. So Luke Shaw's, in fact, sorry, I'm just going to go back and look at Luke Shaw's because I think it's less serious than originally predicted. It's not like a hamstring tear or anything, but I do think he's out for a couple of weeks. Yeah, so Ten Hag, this is the quote. So I don't think he'll be out for a few weeks, but we have to see how it develops. I think he can come back very quickly. So I think he's probably a transfer out if you don't have a more priority transfer to make, if that makes sense. Like you should consider him as not playing probably until game week 33 now. I think he'll probably miss the next 2. And the thing is with Man United, they've got Malacia, who's a perfectly good backup, so they won't be, you know, absolutely desperate to rush Luke Shaw back in. I would go Grealish over Odegaard, I think. Oh, it's all going wrong here. Look at that. Right. We were going to look at Jump the Wave, weren't we, for the predicted lineups. By the way, if you're either new to the stream or just generally enjoying it, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave me a like rating and subscribe to this channel. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subs by the end of the season, and yeah, I really enjoy doing these streams, and it'll make it even better for me if you could subscribe. So please consider doing that if you're enjoying this. Right. So you were interested in the United team, so here we go. You might not be able to see that, but I can read through it. I can give you the commentary on it. Haaland, mate, if you've got them both. De Gea is 100% to play. Varane, Martinez. Oh, this is from last week. Ignore this. This is from last week. Ignore me. Ignore me. Sky Fantasy Football average remaining transfer count. I'll have a look once I get through these lineups. Okay, Arsenal predicted lineup v Liverpool. Front 3 is expected to be Saka, Martinelli, Jesus, with one guy expecting Trossard to play instead of Jesus. So I think you can pretty much nail what that's going to be. A couple are saying Saliba's going to play. I don't think so. I think it's going to be Holding, White, Gabriel, and Zinchenko. And then the City team. So I was teasing you then, wasn't I? Not showing you the City team. See if she's got a new one out. No, she doesn't. So I've put it on a way you can see. There you go. I did a feature on it. There's the Man City prediction. So just to explain again how this works. So I think there's 20 these boxes. All the boxes that say 1 or 0 is essentially 20 Man City team fans predicting their team. Emma at Jump the Wave on Twitter puts it into a spreadsheet, and then in these percentages down here combines it with how accurate they've been with their lineups in the past. And then at the bottom you get a final percentage figure of their likelihood to start. So yeah, I mean, you can see Haaland's on 77%, so that's definitely more likely than not to start, according to the 20 Man City fans that do a team lineup prediction. That's all right, mate. I was teasing you with that when I looking at all the other teams. Right, so XZ, you were after the average remaining transfers. If there's nothing on the Sky account, mate, you're just going to have to go with my prediction, I'm afraid. Let's have a look. Oh, wow, it's been ages since they tweeted it out. I would say it's probably about 10. For most of these now, it's definitely 10, maybe less. Between 9 and 10. I've got 15. Don't know what I'm going to do with all mine, but that's, yeah, I'd say it's between 9 and 10 for me. I just need to do my fan team a second as well, so I'm just going to do that while I'm on stream. Because otherwise, if I forget to do my fan team, I'm going to kick myself. I know a lot of you guys won't play fan team, but it's essentially FPL, same rules, same fixtures, all that jazz as FPL. I'll leave the Man City team up while I sign in. That's okay, XE, no problem at all. Oh, what the fuck? Start to Havertz, Watkins, Isaac. After Wilson's brace, did he score 2 against? Who did he? I can't remember. They played West Ham, wasn't it? I think Isaac's probably going to be benched, so I think I'd start Watkins and Havertz. Just because I think the 2 of them are nailed to play, and I'm not sure about Isaac. So yeah, I'm 47th overall in fan team, winning 100 quid at the moment. So I just want to make sure that I set my team to something I'm happy with. Pinnacle Henry. We'll do a coin flip, Drago. Just give me 2 secs just to make sure my team is all set. Yeah, I think that'll do, actually. I'm quite happy with that. By the way, fan team March is class as defender. How good's that? He's a defender. Yeah, I'm happy with that team. Let's stick with that. Right, coin of truth then. Pinnock or Henry? Pinnock. Henry. That's Henry, isn't it? Henry. The coin has spoken. Yeah, I'm happy with that team. Let's just see what top team in the world's doing. What they had last week. 3-5-3, he's cheating. Okay. I'm happy with my team. Botman, Trippier, Chilwell, Matoma, Bruno, Rashford, Madison, 2 forwards, benching. I think I'd play Estupinian over Botman. The only way Botman's going to score points is if Newcastle keep a clean sheet. Brentford could well score in that game, in my opinion, and then you're on 2 points. I know Estupinian definitely has lower clean sheet odds than Botman, but in my opinion, he's got much more chance of an attack and return, especially considering how crap Spurs have been. So I'd probably start Estupinian over Botman, but the rest of that team is fine. Shaw's not going to play. Isaac's too much of a minute's risk. So I'd probably switch. If it was my opinion, again, I think there's too much between them. So if you're sold on Botman, then go with him. But I do think Estupinian's probably worth playing over Botman, but the rest of that team is absolutely fine. Looks like 60% of 83 people are going for Haaland, so he's very popular. Won't be too long, and then I'll make my transfers too. Let's see if we've got any more news coming. Go back to the old Twitter. Sorry. Don't mean to use my phone on stream, but I had a text that I had to reply to then. Okay. What's the news saying then? What's the news saying? Don't think we've got any, really, have we? Kepa or Steele might lock in my team soon. I think Kepa over Steele. I just think the clean sheet odds for Chelsea are better, and I think Kepa, you know, he's got Wolves away. It's a good fixture for a clean sheet, and just generally, I think he'll make more saves as well. So I think I'll go Kepa. But it's quite close. Don't think there's too much in it. My captain will be Haaland. Sorry, I should be showing that. I've not got Haaland at the moment. I've got Tony in at the moment, but I'll be swapping him out for Haaland and then captaining Haaland. I think if you're bringing in Haaland this week, it's in a way that you back him to play, so you kind of have to captain him as a result, I think. Also, one thing I did do is I had a little play around with the audio on my microphone. I don't have the most expensive or poshest mic in the world, but I found like an app where you can modify the audio on it. So I'll probably sound a bit deeper and a bit more podcasty than I did last week. Let me know what you think. Is it a bit too deep, or do I sound pretty good? Yeah, I wanted to do a bit of an edit to how I sounded because it sounded a bit tinny and cheap. But yeah, let me know. Am I too low pitch or am I sounding good? What else we got on? I'll do a news ticker and I'll go through the stuff that I talked about at the start of the stream. So I did a score prediction of all the fixtures. I'll go through these again. No new Haaland news, I'm afraid, Daction. I've not seen anything yet, other than Pep saying he's fit and most of the famous predictors of Man City teams saying he's going to start. That's the news that I've got at the moment. These are all my predictions. I'll quickly talk through the games. So Man United Everton is usually quite a tricky game for United, but I just think United have got a bit more quality. Probably nick a few goals in that one, so I think they'll win 3-1. Villa Forest. Forest just absolute crap at the moment, and Villa playing really well, particularly Ollie Watkins. So I think they'll win that by 2-0. I see Newcastle beating Brentford, but I also see Brentford nicking a goal. I think that'll probably be 3-1, something like that to Newcastle. Fulham West Ham, I think it's a score draw. It's quite hard to predict exactly how many goals are in that game, but I just said 2-2. Don't think either team are particularly amazing defensively. Leicester, I just see them edging Bournemouth. I think they'll get a bit of a bounce with the new manager, and I think the fans will be behind them like never before, so I could see them winning that 2-1. I definitely see Brighton beating Spurs, but I do see Spurs scoring. I just think Harry Kane always finds a way to score in these sorts of games, so I think he'll probably score in that one. Chelsea Wolves, I think is going to be quite cagey. I think both teams play 3 at the back, don't they? So I think that's going to be a close one. I think Chelsea probably edge that 1-0. Gone 5-1. Man City Southampton, I don't see a way that Man City don't win that game by multiple goals. Although Southampton, they are a team that can just have a game where they really show up against a good side. They just show more desire and work ethic, but I just see Man City being too much for them. Leeds Palace was really close to call. I think Leeds might edge it just because they're at home, but again, I think that's really tough to call. And then I see Liverpool, Arsenal, both teams scoring a couple of goals, but Arsenal edging it. Those are my predictions. Kepa, Trippier, Burn, Chilwell, Bruno, Rashford, Matoma, Odegaard, Kane, Tony Watkins. Need to free up. Sidemen shorts. It would depend if you're free hitting in 32. If you're not free hitting in 32, you want to probably keep Odegaard. I think you could probably sell Luke Shaw to free up the money. I don't see Lampard going for Mendy, Lee. I think Mendy, I don't know if you've seen many of his performances, but he has fallen off an absolute cliff in terms of performances recently. So I just think Kepa's going to play. I know that they don't have the greatest relationship, but I think they'll put it all behind them, and I just don't think Mendy's been good at all. Like, he really has fallen off a cliff in terms of like saving, makes so many mistakes. I think Kepa's better. I would get rid of Shaw, because although his injury is not long term, I'm just not sure he's going to play again until 33. Because he's got 2 fixtures now in the space of a week. You know, the next 2 Premier League fixtures, and then it's a blank. So no, Shaw's not out long term, but I don't see him play until 33. I don't think. Pinnacle Botman. Well, I'd probably go Botman, but it's close. Yeah, I'd sell Shaw sideman shorts. If you can sell Shaw for someone cheaper, I'd probably do that. 4.1 million left. Let's have a look. Who can we get for 4.1 million? It's a bit bleak, isn't it? You get Perraud from Southampton who's got Man City. Ultimately, you just be doing it for your bench. To be honest, I probably think with that team, maybe it's not worth bringing in Haaland, especially if you've got to take a hit for him. I don't think Haaland's worth it for a hit this week, especially if you've got like Rashford in your team already. You just captain Rashford. Like the expected points, as you can see on this screen. Hang on. The expected points between Haaland and Rashford are not too different. And Rashford's probably going to play 90. So I think it's close. It's genuinely close. And I think it's close enough that you don't need to take a hit for Haaland this week. I wouldn't do Saka to Grealish. I think Saka's an amazing option against any team. I would definitely bench Ben White on that list, Rockagoo. I guess you're saying free hit 32 or 34. I'd free hit 34 with that team, with those players. Because they all play in 32. Well, with a bit of luck. I'll be captaining Haaland, Lee. I can't remember if you're a Sky guy as well, but I'll be captaining Haaland in Sky as well. I just think the upside with Haaland's just too much. I can't not captain him. I believe he's going to play. I think you should sidemen shorts. I wouldn't be taking a hit for Haaland this week. I think you should roll the transfer and captain Rashford. In the short term, he might score less points, but I think in the long term, it's better for your team. I don't think you need to rip it up to buy Haaland. So I'd leave it. Then you can deal with that next week, I would suggest. Maybe you have 2 free transfers next week where you can make the transfer for Leicester at home without a hit. Maybe that's the way to play it. So I'm just checking my Twitter DMs to see if anyone's sent me a team or anything. I don't want to share, for obvious reasons, I don't want to share my DMs on a live stream. So I'm just going to check it on my phone. I haven't got anything. No one's sent anything to me. I'll have a look on Twitter. Let's have a go on Twitter again. The all-important news. So yeah, Leicester's saying that the Leicester insider Sam Martin, who's a good mate of mine, he says that Maddison's going to play. So yeah, any rumours about Maddison I think can be squashed. I think he's going to play. Not sure about Ilkay Gundogan that Ray's recommending there. Not sure I'll be going Gundogan. Captaincy poll, I'll write on that, see what people are saying. Yeah, lots saying HAALAND. Seen so much of Michael Oliver, I couldn't care less, really. I'm a Man United fan. Yeah, lots of people saying they've got HAALAND. The Man City prediction. So Luke's changed his mind on the Man City prediction. So this is one of the top Man City lineup predictors, Luke. And that's what he's saying his team is. Haaland, Mahrez, Grealish, Gundogan, De Bruyne, Rodri, Lewis, Ake, Diaz, Akanji, Edison. So he's expecting Haaland to play as well. Lewis. Indeed. My housemate's called Lewis as well, so he's probably thinking I'm calling him. Yeah, someone wanted the money, Rico Lewis, but I mean, it's harsh, isn't it? Like, you could do Shaw to Lewis, but like, is Lewis going to play? I just don't rate it. I was talking about Sidemen Shorts there, saying he was looking for someone less than 4.1 million, but it's just too much of a risk. I think I'd rather just roll. Yeah, Andy Martin's rolling his transfer. He doesn't own Haaland, and he's going to captain Watkins. I don't think his team allows him to bring in Haaland. So he's always a good one to watch because he really does think for himself. Yeah, he's not going for Haaland. What was a BBC News article? Top FPL players. Look at that. Wow. We're growing. One day I'll be on there. Only joking. This is cool, isn't it? Bloody FPL making BBC News. Just seeing what these guys are saying. Oh, no, I'm not. BBC News is crap. It's all about Twitter, isn't it? Twitter's the best place to go for this kind of thing. Henry to Ake or roll free transfer. Start either Henry or Zinchenko. I'm not sure I'd do Henry to Ake. Particularly if Man City blank in 32. I just don't think it's worth it. I'd probably roll that transfer in my opinion. And tell you what, Henry to Zinchenko. For these sorts of decisions to make, I've been using an Indonesian coin that I got on holiday. So to start, Henry is going to be this side. Just dropped it. And then to start, Zinchenko is going to be this side. And I think it's so close to call that the decision needs to be taken out of our hands. So the coin of truth, which is never wrong, by the way, will decide. I can't actually remember which side I assigned to each player, so I always forget. But that's it. Was that Henry or Zinchenko? I can't remember, but it landed on the numbers side, so. Steve Johnson, already sat with Haaland, can't decide whether to swap. Oh, it's gone. I'm still here, Steve, if you want to ask your question, mate. 101 votes on that poll now. People, yeah, bringing in Haaland by the looks of it. I rate it. I think I'm going to be doing it. I'm just going to wait for a bit more news. That was Henry. There you go. Sorry, there's lots going on in front of me. I've got 3 screens open and all sorts, so my short-term memory is getting fucked. But yeah. Let's pray the coin is right again. I don't think there's anything between them, really. I think if you were to ask my opinion, I'd probably start Zinchenko. If you just do an expected points comparison a second. So Henry's 3.2, Zinchenko's 4.1. So that's probably enough in it to suggest you could probably go Zinchenko. I think my opinion would be Zinchenko. That'd be my call. I would just leave it, mate. I think Steve, March and Matoma are absolutely fine this week. I would just leave it. I think they could do really well against Tottenham. Tottenham, mate, are in absolute turmoil. Leicester aren't amazing. I think they're worst, one of the worst in the league for expected goals scored. I know they got Bournemouth at home, but Bournemouth are all right. Like, I feel they could give any team a challenge. So, and then Grealish, yeah, he's probably going to start this week. But how many minutes is he actually going to play, given they've got Bayern midweek? And then how many minutes is he going to play the following weekend with Bayern midweek to consider? I just leave it, mate. If you've got Haaland already, just stick with him and go for March and Matoma. I'd be quite happy with March and Matoma. Danny Victor, Estupinian in his starting team. Rodrigo for Leeds on my bench, who I can switch for Pereira. What do you think? Maddison's fit, mate. James, that's confirmed. There's a journalist from The Athletic. I had it on stream earlier. You might be able to scroll back to see it, just so with evidence. But Sam Martin, the Leicester insider, predicts Maddison to play. And the Athletic correspondent for Leicester says he asked the manager in the press conference, and Maddison is okay to play. You can scroll back because I've got all that on stream just to evidence it. Sorry, Danny, I took away from your question then. I guess you're talking about Andreas Pereira. I think the thing with Rodrigo, he's not been starting week on week, has he? I'm just going to check his recent games. Yeah, he's not been starting. He's been playing barely any minutes. So I'd probably go... I'd probably leave it. Who have Fulham got? Who have Fulham got? Fulham got West Ham, haven't they? I guess you're talking about this Pereira. I would go, if you've got Andreas Pereira, mate, I'd go for that. No, I don't want double Newcastle, because Brentford away, I think, is a fixture they could concede in. I really do. I think Brentford at home are really, really good, and I think Tony could score. I don't think he'll haul, but I think he could quite easily score. And I think Estupinian has got much more attacking output than Botman does. Like Botman, he's clean sheet or nothing, and I don't think Newcastle keep a clean sheet, whereas Estupinian if Brighton don't keep a clean sheet, I think he could get an attack in return. So for that reason, I'm going for Estupinian over Botman. Hopefully that's a decent explanation. I don't think there's too much in it, and well, you can see that on expected points. It's 4 for Botman and 3.9 for Estupinian, so there really isn't much in it. Rian, I probably wouldn't do that, especially if you're not free hitting in 32. Could you check Ake's expected points? Always the pet roulette risk, but I'm just going to check his points for you. I'm not going to provide an opinion on him. Ake's 5.1, so the same as Chilwell this week. By the way, sorry if you are sick of me saying this. I've only said it once before, I think. If you're new to the stream and enjoying it, I'd really appreciate if you could subscribe to the Golden Goal channel. Yeah, it'd be lovely to have you in here every week if you are enjoying it so far. And yeah, please leave me a like rating as well. I'd really appreciate it. I wouldn't captain any of those, Danny. I wouldn't. The Wheel of Fortune, I think, said... Did it say Kane? Kane, I think, won. I can't remember now. I don't think we finished it. If you have Watkins, I'd captain Watkins over those two players. And then that's the top players this week for expected points. I don't think there's anything between Salah and Maddison. I think Watkins is better, Kane is better, Rashford is also better. So yeah. What are your plans? Will you bring in Salah or KDB for the double? I'm definitely looking at bringing in Salah. We'll just flash it up again. Screen share. There it is. But I had a chat through Game Week 34 and I'm not overly enthused by it. Like, at face value, it looks good. I'll already have triple Brighton, so I don't need to worry about that. I'll probably bring in an extra Man United player because I think that's a good double for Man United. And they've got a double in 37 as well. Fulham, I don't think, Man City, Liverpool's basically a single game week. Liverpool, yes, they've got Tottenham, Fulham, looks really good. I don't back them too much defensively, so I don't think I'm going to break my team to bring in Liverpool defenders. Then outside of Salah, I don't think there's someone in that front three you can guarantee plays both games. Same with Man City, like Fulham, West Ham, you could feel that double game week, there could be some rotation. So I think outside of Haaland, there's no one, apart from maybe Ederson. Apart from that, I don't think there's anyone I'd be breaking my team to bring in, just because you're not sure they're going to play both. I think Man United have a more settled team, so doubling up on them for 34 could work. And then with Man City being one of West Ham's doubles, I don't really back them either. I know I've got to sound really negative about it, but I'm not too enthused by 34. Free hitting in 32, would you still do that? My other defenders are Shaw, Estupinian, Botman, Trippier and me. No, I wouldn't do that, mate. And no, Daction, I haven't. Is there any reason, am I going to be priced out of it? If Haaland's gone up in price again, I'm fooked. But no, I'm hovering over it, mate. He's in my transfer screen, look. You want to see Andreas Pereira's expected points? Justin Barton, good to see you from New Zealand, mate. My girlfriend is currently living over in New Zealand doing a gap year. So, yeah, whereabouts are you from? That's really cool. Oh, yeah, best free goalies, mate. I'll just look at this. I'll just point you towards this. Sidemen Shorts, thoughts on Spurs conceded. So this is the top goalkeepers for expected points, by the way, Justin. Thoughts on Spurs conceding 9 chances down their right-hand side versus 20 on the left. Bloody hell, I didn't realise that. Well, that would definitely favour Matoma over March because Matoma plays left wing. Andreas Pereira, expected points. Have a look at that quickly. Auckland, lovely. Pereira's on 4.3 expected points. I'm just going to come off that screen to show that. There you go. Andreas Pereira, 4.3. I'm hovering over my transfer. Which 3 do you start out of? Estupinian, Botman, Trippier, me. Estupinian, Trippier, Botman. Yeah, you got to do that, haven't you? I'm hovering over it. It's getting closer to confirming it. I'm just waiting for any news to drop, basically. There's one account that I did come across that had the early Man City team news last week as well. FPL South. Let's see if they've got anything for us. No, nothing on him. Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm confused by what you mean then. I'd bench Botman. I'd bench Henry, Daction. So, whichever side is the most... I'm confused now. You've got me confused. So, Spurs' left side would be Brighton's right wing. Yeah, it would be. So that would be March's side. Whichever side... yeah, I mean, I'm confused. I guess whichever side, concedes the most chances is the better option this week, I would suggest. So that would suggest March is a better option than Matoma. Oh my god. I'm starting Matoma at the moment. That's such a tough... March v Matoma is my benching headache this week, and I feel it's really close. It's really tough to call. So looking, Danny, at the Arsenal predicted lineups, I'll just go back to it. The Arsenal fans are heavily backing Martinelli to play this week. And if you think about it, he's up against potentially Trent, and I think he could absolutely ruin Trent's life this week. So where's the Arsenal team? This is the Arsenal prediction. Don't know if you can see that, but Martinelli, all of the Arsenal fans that vote on the team, 100% of them are saying Martinelli plays. Only one guy has picked Trossard, and that's in place for Jesus. So heavily backing Martinelli to play, so I think it'd be fine. Zuma, Estupinian, Zinchenko. Estupinian. That's what I'm doing. I don't have Zuma, but I'd start. I'm starting Estupinian over Zinchenko. Getting closer. I have James, Shaw, Trippier, Botman, 3 Hen. I would definitely... You can't start Shaw. James, Trippier, Botman would be my 3. I'm giving you all the information I have around Arsenal lineup predictions. If you have a feeling that Martinelli doesn't play, then fair enough. But 100% of the 20 Arsenal fans that vote on a team lineup every week are saying that Martinelli's going to play. Oh, I've got the same dilemma, Nico. At the moment, I'm starting Saka and Matoma. But given what Sidemen Shorts has just said to me, which is some really useful information actually, Spurs concede a lot more chances down March's side. So I'd definitely start Saka. No question I start Saka. But then it's between March and Matoma, which I think is really close. And I'm edging towards, at the moment, Solly March. I've just got a feeling about March over Matoma this week. That could come back to bite me though. Yeah, I start March over Fernandez. That's also a really tough call. I think I probably would, just not thinking about price, just looking at the two players on face value. I think I'd probably start March over Bruno. That feels so wrong, doesn't it? But I think there's a real chance that Bruno could play deep again today. Steele or Pope? Oh, I'd go Pope. They are slightly better defensively, I think, Newcastle. I'd go Pope. That's a really tough call though, but I think I'd go Pope. Let's have a look at Twitter again quick. Izana, I am starting Estupinian. I don't know if it's good, so I don't know if it's bad, but I think Arsenal concede. They're more likely to concede than Brighton are, and I think you want to do a coin flip. Okay. Estupinian. Zinchenko. But yeah, I didn't even flip it then. I just threw it. There we go. That's a better flip. That's Zinchenko, isn't it? I think. So Zinchenko. Bruno's on pens for United, mate. I'm pretty sure he did give 1 pen to Rashford recently, but yeah, Bruno's the designated penalty taker for United. I think it's pretty much safe to say that. I speak as a Man United fan. I should probably do a coin flip on March and Matoma, shouldn't I? All right, this is for me now. So this is March. That's Matoma. Oh, that went wrong. So March, Matoma. Oh, Matoma. Okay. No Haaland. I would captain Rashford if it was me. I think probably of that list, Watkins is second best, followed by Kane, followed by Tony. Yeah. And I think no Haaland. You know, if your team doesn't allow you to get him in easily, I think that's fine. I wouldn't worry too much. I think Rashford's second best. I can show you why. The predicted points say that Rashford's second best as well. So I think Rashford's second best, followed by Watkins, but it's definitely close. Fernandes out. I wouldn't get rid of Fernandes for a hit. Absolutely not. Just leave him, mate. If I were to pick one player from that lot, I'd say Martinelli. But I wouldn't get rid. Would you play March over Bruno, Tony, or Odegaard? I'd probably play him over Bruno. I wouldn't do a -4 for Tony to Watkins. Definitely not. Just leave Tony. Get rid of him when he gets his ban, mate. It's not worth it this week. I think he could score against Newcastle. He's not going to haul, but I think he could score, so no, I wouldn't do that. Don't think this is the week to be taking hits, even for Haaland. I just don't think it's the week for hits. Double game week makes sense, but I wouldn't be taking hits. Arsenal in 34 have Chelsea at home. Be interesting to see. I feel like that's one you've got to play by ear, isn't it, with Chelsea, just to see if they have a bounce at all under Lampard or not. Who else are you saying? Yeah. If you have that kind of feel inside men's shorts, the last thing I want to do is tell you not to play Bruno, because it really is grey and uncertain as to what you should do. So if you have a feeling that Bruno is going to score this week, then you should probably keep Bruno. And then it's between Tony and Odegaard, and Tony's on pens too, so if you've got the feeling about Bruno getting a pen, you probably have a feeling about Tony getting a pen too. Odegaard's not a penalty taker, so you should probably not play him. I don't know if I'm playing 4D chess with your brain there, but I think that's probably how you're thinking. And I quite like to convince players that sometimes their ideas are best, especially like the last thing I want to do is get in your head about a transfer and it not work out for you. Because ultimately we have the same like information as each other. I base all my FPL decisions on the information I share with you. So, you know, I just like to be a source of information rather than to tell you exactly what transfers to make. I will make my transfers at 10:30, I think, as well. I'm just gonna get Haaland in at 10:30. Let's see if you've got any reliable team news. Nothing yet. Nothing yet. In game week 29, I had 143 points. Have a quick look. I think it'll still show my points, won't it? Yeah, 143 points. I'll show you. Hang on. I'm on the wrong screen. There you go. 143. That's what I'm doing. 160k overall. Not horrendous. A lot better than I have been. Yeah, 143 points. Yeah, I did quite well last week. The bench boost worked. The bench boost paid off. It's first time I've had a good week in quite a long while in fantasy, so I was very pleased. It's only 4 points, mate. You got 139 is exceptional as well. I wouldn't. Well, it's only 4 points. Don't compare yourself to me. That's good, mate. Fair enough. If you have a feeling about Matoma, then go for it. I don't think there's much between the players you said, so I'd rather you went with your instinct. And yeah, you can die on your own sword. Then I think that's a better way to go than listening to a random bloke on YouTube. I'm doing myself a disservice there. I feel like I've got good advice, but ultimately, you should play the game your own way. That's what it's all about, isn't it? I want to get hovering over that screen again. That's the big one, isn't it? It's one button away. Be interested to know what you guys are up to this weekend as well. Obviously, us that are in more Christian countries have 4 days off work. Well, most of us do. Sorry if you're working over this Easter weekend. But yeah, be interested to know what your plans are. I'm going for a big swim later on. Probably see some mates in the park this afternoon as well. Yeah, just really looking forward to sitting in the sun and having a nice time. Havertz or McAllister? I'll probably go Havertz, mate. I do think there'll be a good spread captaincy-wise. I think everyone that has Haaland will probably go for him. But there are genuine reasons why you probably can't go for Haaland in other people's teams. So yeah, I completely agree. I think there'll be a good spread this week. It's not going to be Haaland, 200% expected ownership. I think it's going to be a bit less than that. Or effective ownership, sorry. Yeah, let me know what you're up to this weekend. Must be doing other stuff than just fantasy, or are you just going to slam it on the sofa with Sky Sports News on or something? Yeah, Khalid, I think I answered that. I'd go Havertz over McAllister. I think there's a risk that McAllister plays deep this week. I've got a feeling about my Spurs-Brighton prediction. I had it 3-1 Brighton. I think Spurs probably score, but I think Brighton win the game. Those are my score predictions this week, by the way. I won't go through them all again. I've spoken about them a couple of times now, but that's what I think. What do you think is going to happen there in that game, James? Just out of interest. I think Brighton will play him off the park, but I do see Kane just nicking a goal, as Harry Kane always does. But yeah, interested to hear your thoughts on that one, James, or any other of my predictions. The Man United one's a bit iffy as well because it could be early kickoff. 3-0, fair enough. Kane for Haaland? Probably not. Probably not. It all depends on your chip strategy, though. And, if you bring in Haaland, are you going to captain him? And are you doing it for a hit? Lots of considerations there, but I think you could do it. If you're free hitting in 32, I think that increases the argument to do it. Definitely. Yeah, if you really back Haaland as your captain this week, I think, yeah. If you're going to free hit in 32 and you back Haaland as your captain this week, I would probably do Kane to Haaland. But I wouldn't do it for a hit. And if I wasn't free hitting in 32, I don't think I'd do it. Those are the other things to consider, I think. Let's go back to my screen share. Yeah, Chelsea starting 11 will be interesting. I think it'd be similar to what we've seen most weeks, to be honest. I think Kepa will play. I don't. I was just saying. I know Lampard had a bit of a tiff with Kepa. I just think Mendy has fallen off an absolute cliff in terms of his playing form. So I just see Kepa playing. I think Lampard's going to be smart and just play Kepa. But yeah, who plays up front will be interesting. Don't kill yourself over it, Juntao. That's a horrible thing to say, isn't it? I shouldn't say that on stream. That's what didn't mean to say that. I meant to say kick yourself. Don't kick yourself about that, mate. I would just leave it. I would just leave it. I wouldn't take a hit for it. Wouldn't rip up my team for it. I'd just leave it. Yeah, sorry, I misspoke then. I meant to say kick yourself. I didn't mean to say that. Danny Butcher, hey big man, what should I prioritise? Tony to Haaland or sort out my defence? Trippier, Estupinian, Henry, Badiashile. I think Badiashile might play this week. I would just do Tony to Haaland, and then your three defenders, Trippier, Estupinian, Henry. It's fine. It's fine. Pope, Trippier, Chilwell, me, March, Odegaard, Saka, Rashford, Haaland, Tony Kane. That's a lovely team, Nicola. My order of preference, it's really tough. So my third is McAllister this week. I think there's a chance he could play deep. And then not Rashford. Why am I saying Rashford? March and Matoma is a complete 50-50. I've got to decide at the moment, Ben, between March and Matoma in my team. Currently it's on Matoma, but I could see myself going into the deadline with March starting. I think March and Matoma is a complete coin flip. If you scroll up the chat, there was the guy, he had Sidemen in his name. He was saying that Spurs concede twice as many chances on their left-hand side than the right. And Spurs' left-hand side is the side that March will be attacking. I wouldn't change your team, Nicola. No, I think that's a great team. Yeah, just leave it. I think it's fine. I think it's absolutely fine. Well, I don't see any point in a transfer either. Save your transfer and have two next week. It is a risk you have to take, Ben. It is a risk you have to take. Oh, mate, absolutely start Martinelli. I think he's going to play and he's going to be up against Trent. I think that's all you need to know. I think he's going to absolutely ruin Trent's life this weekend. So I'd definitely start Botman. I would probably start Tony over Bruno Fernandes, I think, mate. I think they've got a similar upside in terms of penalties. Bruno could play deep, whereas even if Tony gets booked this game, like he's going to play the game, so it doesn't matter. I would start Tony. I think Tony's better than Bruno just this week alone. Brisky, good to see you, mate. Good to see you. What are your plans this weekend and with your FPL team? Johnny, yep, Shaw's definitely out this week, I think. It's not expected to be like a long-term hamstring injury, but I do think he's probably not going to feature for Man United until game week 33. That's just my opinion. It's based on Eric Ten Hag saying it's not a long-term injury, but simply the fact that, you know, it's a week until game week 33. I don't think Shaw will be back fit for that one. Ben, I'm debating, well, I'm just hovering over Tony to Haaland, and then when I make the move, I will go Haaland. Shaw out, Mings in. I think it's a bit of a luxury move, but it depends on the rest of your defence. If the rest of your defence is terrible and you're not happy with it, then go for it. But if you can get away just benching Shaw this week, I think I'd do that and save my transfer. At past, whatever the news says, I'm going to make the transfer. Tony to Haaland, by the way. That's what I'm going to do. I think Haaland plays this week, Ben. All the insider, like not insiders, but Man City lineup predictors suggest he's going to play, but reduce minutes, probably 60 to 70 minutes. So yeah, I think he's going to start, and I think he's the best captain. Possibly John, but I wouldn't consider Alvarez as an option. I just don't think he plays enough at all. But they could possibly split game time. Just answering your question as a question that's not leading into anything. I think, yeah, they could split game time. But I think Haaland's obviously the option you should go for. But yeah, absolutely, I think Haaland plays this week. I'm going to have a look at Twitter again. I've got love hearts flashing up on my screen. Thank you, whoever did that. I don't know how you actually do that, but I appreciate it. I love you too, man. Exactly. We only needs a half, less than a half to score a hat trick. I think that's enough for me to captain him. Unfortunately, we're going to have the same problem next week because he's got Bayern midweek that he's definitely going to start in, and then he's got Leicester at the weekend. So we're going to have a similar dilemma about Haaland next week. Quite a few people considering shorter Moreno, Brisky, an option. I'm just going to do a tweet, actually. I'm going to tweet out my score predictions. I think that's an interesting thing to tweet, isn't it? People on Twitter might like that. I'm tweeting while streaming. Unbelievable. I spelled predictions wrong. That's a good start, isn't it? But yeah, I completely feel with Haaland. Like if he plays reduced minutes, he can still do well. This is some major photo editing going on here, isn't it? Oh. I did a tweet. Deciding if I should play Brennan Johnson over Solly March. Oh, God, that is tough. I feel like there might be a different player in your team that you can play him for because I really like Solly March too. Nottingham Forest attack looks deadly. I think Watkins captain's a good shout, mate. I think Rashford is my second best captain below Haaland, but I really like Watkins as a third choice as well. I wouldn't want to talk you out of that if you were feeling it. Just seeing what people think. Just opinions in fantasy football I respect. Paul McNulty's second in Sky Sports Fantasy Football, which has got a £50,000 prize pot, and he's bringing in Haaland, so... I got excited then. I saw blue team news. Thought it was Man City. Just see if there's anything going on my personal Twitter as well. I follow different accounts on both, so we'll just see if there's any new stuff on this one. But yeah, Juntao, Watkins captain, like it, mate. Keep popping your questions in the chat. Any general things you want to talk about? Oh. I don't just do FPL questions as well, by the way. You can ask me anything. What's that? Oh, it's a Man United leaked lineup. Let's see if we can get on this, guys. I don't have Instagram, so hopefully I can look at it. No, it's not working. If anyone's an Instagram user, have a look at this dude, because Sam C345 is an insider, and when he shares stuff, it's leaked lineup. So this guy, Planet Faz, looks like he has a Man United leaked lineup on his Instagram. So if anyone wants to have a look at that, I don't have Instagram, so I don't want to make an account just to see a leaked lineup. Ben, I've already done it. I've already done it to save myself the pain of waiting until the last minute. I've already brought HAALAND in, and he's going to be my captain. I took Tony out in Sky for HAALAND, same as what I'm doing in FPL, mate. Just think Tony to HAALAND is a sensible transfer if you've got the freedom to do it, like the budget and the remaining average transfers and stuff like that. Because I just think the ban for Tony's coming, isn't it? So it just makes sense. We're getting close. I think I'm just going to confirm it. I've done it. HAALAND's in. HAALAND's in for Tony. I've done it. Oh, we want to do that. We want to do that. And so at the moment, I'm feeling like doing that. There we go. There's all the key info about my team and stuff on screen there. Oh, I honestly don't mind benching Fernandes for March and Matoma. I think that could work out. Just not, yeah. If you saw earlier, if you scroll back a minute, there was a guy that's potentially leaked a Man United team on Instagram. I don't have Instagram, so I can't load it up. But yeah, if you want to have a look at that, scroll back in the screen on the stream and have a look at his Twitter. But I think benching Fernandes for those guys is not a terrible move. I think we see what happens with Enzo. That's a good. Someone mentioned earlier about the Chelsea team this week being interesting. I agree. I think it could be interesting. Yeah, we'll see on Enzo. He could well make way for someone else for me as well. Although it's quite easy for me. I think I'll just swap him for a Brighton mid. Johnny, I know Matoma scored 6 in his last 6, right? But having watched a bit of Brighton, I feel like March could have done exactly the same. And there's also a stat that's the guy in the chat said earlier about Spurs conceding the side that Spurs concede the most chances on. I think over the last 5 games, it was 9 chances down their right-hand side, which is the side that Matoma will be attacking, and 20 on the left-hand side, which is the side that March will be attacking. And just having watched them, I know Matoma scored the goals, but I feel like March has come equally as close to scoring as Matoma has. Yeah. No problem, Ben. No problem at all. Salah and Tony to HAALAND and Saka for a -4. Nah, wouldn't do that. Don't think HAALAND's worth it for it. Just captain someone else this week. Stone, Martinez or Stones. So Stones for expected points is better. And I think for clean sheet odds is better. But the question with Stones is, does he play? Because I don't think he will play. Will he come off the bench? Will he bring Stones off the bench? Might do. Martinez, I'll go Martinez. No, I would definitely start Martinelli over Danny Ings, mate. I think Martinelli's... All the Arsenal predictions are saying Martinelli's going to play, and he's going to be up against Trent. I guess your question there, Johnny, is Dan Burn or Trent? I think clean sheet odds, Botman, Dan Burn wins, but I think Trent is better. Izana, I will point you in the direction of a tweet. 2 seconds. I will do what this guy says. So disable is my favourite Man City lineup predictor. And that's what he says is the defence. If you're thinking Maddison captain, I don't like it. But I don't want to say don't do it. Because if you've got a feeling about him, then fine. I personally am not a massive fan though. Odegaard on March is really tough. I think we did a coin flip on it earlier because that's really close. I think I would start March. Tony or Matoma. That's a coin flip. That's a coin flip. Tony. Matoma. Tony. That's so close, though, Mr. Mohammed. That's really close. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your name. Johnny, I completely agree, mate. What about Ake or Martinez? I think Ake. But I wouldn't bring in a Man City defender this week. I'd start Kepa. Definitely start Kepa. Kepa's a better option if he plays, and if he doesn't play, he's not going to get subbed on, is he? So Iverson will come off the bench, so I would start Kepa. Undoubtedly start Kepa. They got Wolves away, which I think is a fixture they could easily keep a clean sheet in, whereas I don't think Leicester are very good at all, and I think they'll concede. Sorry, I just need to get some water down. My mouth's getting really dry. So Billy, I would go Martinelli. 100% Martinelli. I think he's going to have an absolute field day against Trent or Joe Gomez or whoever plays right back. I think there might be someone else in your team that you could start Matoma for instead. But I would definitely start Martinelli. I feel like I would maybe even start Matoma over someone like Bruno Fernandes if you've got Bruno in your team. Yeah, I think benching Maddison. I know he's got Bournemouth at home, but Leicester recently have not been very good. So I think you could bench Maddison over. So it's a 3, isn't it, for you? Maddison, Martinelli or Matoma to bench. I think of the 3, Maddison's the worst. I do think Tottenham will be different, but I don't know if it would be a good different or a bad different. I've no idea. March or Martinelli? That's really tough. I'd probably go Martinelli just because he's a better player, but it's really close. Definitely go Tony, Danny, because I'm not sure Isaac will start. And if he does start, he's going to be reduced minutes because Wilson has just scored 2 goals, just off the back of scoring 2 goals in a game. So, yeah, Tony's definitely going to play 90 minutes. Even if he gets a bat, even if he gets a yellow, it doesn't matter because it's just one game. So I'd go Tony, definitely. I think Trippier, Henry, Estupinan's fine. Not worth a hit. I don't think there's really any hits I'd take this week. Unless you can't field 11 players, I wouldn't take a hit this week. I don't think it's worth it. Even for Haaland, I don't think a Haaland for a hit is worth it either. Any news on City? I don't, other than a new prediction from Luke, mate, I don't think we've got anything. A prediction here for the Leicester team, if anyone's interested in that. But no, I've not seen any Man City news, I'm afraid, bud. The one we might get it from is this guy, but I don't think he's tweeted anything. No. Odegaard out for Trent or March. It depends. Are you talking a transfer or a bench? Because I wouldn't be getting rid of him on a transfer. Oliver, I have the same decision, and I've gone for Estupinian. I think clean sheets odds, they're very similar, and Estupinian has the better chance for attacking returns. Botman's not, I'd say that Botman's going to score this week now, isn't he? But just game on game, Estupinian looks much better going forward. I think it's a coin flip. Coin flip, John. Odegaard. March. So that's play Odegaard, according to the coin. I think it's really close, 50-50. No hits this week for me. Suksing, no hits. I don't think that's worth it. Don't think it's worth it. And he blanks in 32 as well. And yeah, he's just so injury prone. No, definitely not. Definitely not worth it. I don't think, unless your team is absolutely in the mud and you only have 10 players, I wouldn't bring in Reece James as a priority, even if that was the case, to be honest. So I don't like it. Sorry. I'll go back to my team now, shall I? So we're lining up. Although I have been live for just about 2 hours now. And I had a coffee and basically a whole litre of water, so I'm going to need to run to the loo in a second. Sorry, Daction. I don't think he's terrible if you've got him. I just don't think he's worth a hit, is he? I think even you would agree you wouldn't take a hit for him. Yeah, I need to run to the loo. I'll be 30 seconds. I just need the toilet because I've been live for 2 hours. I'm back. Just open my window as well. Easter log. Nah, it's just a number one, mate. Hello, Jeff Johns. Oh, just play Odegaard and roll, mate. I don't think it's worth it. I absolutely did wash my hands. Always wash and wipe, mate. Sometimes use a wet wipe as well, if it's particularly messy. Although I think they're going to stop selling wet wipes due to the environment. But honestly, if you know, in an emergency situation, wet wipes are useful. Also, in Indonesia, they had a bum gun rather than just a bidet. They had a bum gun hose that you spray up your bum when you want to get it clean, and it was game changing. Actually, I just got a feeling about him, mate. I just got a feeling about him. And also, I saw someone put in the chat a very fair statistic that Tottenham concede more chances on their boiling water in the bum. I'm not sure about that. Don't know what you're into, mate. That's a bit different, that. It's not my final decision now. I'm going to yo-yo on that one, I'm sure. I just got a feeling about March, mate. And Tottenham concede more chances on twice the chances in the last 5 games on March's side than Mitoma's. I'm not saying it's my final decision, though. I might bottle it and change it. I just don't know. We keep it fast and loose on the Golden Goal channel. Rashford captain, like it, mate. I like it. Nothing wrong with that. No, I think Haaland's the best captain this game week, Oliver. If you don't have Haaland, I think Rashford is the second best. And then Watkins third. Bench Isaac or March. I'd bench Isaac because not sure if he'll start given that the last game Wilson scored a brace. You could do Kane to Haaland. I think that depends on if you're free hitting in 32. If you're free hitting in 32, yeah, that makes sense. If you're not, you're going to want to keep Kane. It's just scary him playing 12:30 and going up against you, I can imagine. You could also captain Ollie Watkins as an alternative. I think he's a fine alternative. All right then, March, Brennan Johnson. I'm going to close my window because I opened it and it's actually quite cold out. What did we say? We said March here, didn't we? And Brennan Johnson there. That was Johnson that side, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure. Really like Brennan Johnson as a differential. My top differential at the moment is Gabriel Jesus, actually, at the moment. I really like him. I just can't... Don't look at my team. I've just not got a way to bring him in. But I really like him. Yeah, nothing wrong with double Newcastle. Yeah, mate, I've done Tony to Haaland in Sky and captained Haaland. I'm not sure about your other one. And Buemo to Haaland is definitely a good idea as well. Yeah, I like it. No problem, John. Tony for Haaland. I've done it, Mr. Knight. I've just done it. It all depends on the situation of your team, though. But I've done it. If you're not free hitting in 32, it's a harder case, but I still think it's worth it. Tottenham's formation, making it hard for Tottenham. No, I know what you mean. Yeah, fair enough. Tottenham play well against the teams that like to hold possession, don't they? They're just the way they counter-attack. They're a team set up to counter-attack Tottenham. So I had it as 3-1 to Brighton is my score prediction. I think Brighton will be too good, but I can see Tottenham nicking a goal on the break, or Harry Kane just being Harry Kane and scoring from nothing. By the way, if you're enjoying the stream, this will be one of the last times I say it. I'm sorry if you get bored of me saying this. I'd really love it if you could subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate you being along for the journey with me. And leave a like rating as well. I'd really appreciate it. And yeah, feel free to ask me any questions. It doesn't have to be FPL related. I just talked about going to the loo earlier and bum gun, so we can really talk about anything. Yeah, Saka and Martinelli's absolutely fine, mate. Absolutely fine. I think Liverpool is a good fixture for them. I know it's at Anfield, but they're going to score, aren't they? Surely they're going to score. So I don't think there's any reason not. It's a good idea to keep Shaw for the double game week in 34 if you're planning to free hit in 32. I think it depends. So I don't think Shaw is actually going to play again until game week 33. So it's whether you can... it's just whether you can get away with benching Shaw for 2 weeks. That's the question, really, because I don't think he's going to be back until 33. Skill, I wouldn't do that for a transfer, but if you're benching Fernandes for March, it's not the worst decision. It could be a little harsh on Tottenham, but I just think they're all over the place at the moment, mate. Hey, Barmy Army, the world's your oyster, mate. You can do what you like. Look, I've got the worst decision in you. If you can get both of them in, then fair enough. But I've got that decision. I've got March versus Matoma. That's my call this week. Bloody horrible. Yeah, why not? I think Trippier and Botman are fine, mate. Yeah. The only other one you could go for is Villa, because Villa have got better clean sheet odds than Newcastle this week. But yeah, Johnny, I got the predictions here, bro. There you go. I've done them all at the start, mate. I'm already prepared. Brisky, I think I prefer Moreno, but Villa have Luca Dean waiting in the wings, and they've got Diego Carlos as well, who's a very good centre-back who could come in for Mings. Mate, we already got the score predictions up, don't worry. That's what I'm saying. Some of them I'm obviously a little bit unsure of, because it's predicting outcomes that are out of my control, but yeah. I love the use of emojis, Wing. I think Mings is going to play. Yeah, sure. I just suggesting that there's Diego Carlos who's been on their bench. That's the only thing with Villa for me. I think Diego Carlos is very good. Yeah, that's why I've gone 3-1, mate. I think Newcastle beat them, but I do think Brentford probably score. They're good going forward at Brentford. I think most teams will struggle to... Blanco White, you talking Ben White there? Yeah, I don't see any reason to sell Ben White. I wouldn't play him this week, but I don't see any reason to sell him. I'm going to go back to my team if that's all right now. You've seen them predictions. Oh, Kulusevski. Definitely Kulusevski if you've got that decision to make. Liverpool are not keeping a clean sheet this week, in my opinion. They probably do now, but yeah. Kulusevski. Sure, go Kulusevski. Thanks so much, everyone, for asking your questions and keeping this stream alive. I really appreciate it. I really enjoy the interactions with you all. Listening to Gandhi. Did Gandhi say that, did he? He's talking to the Indian Gandhi that freed them from... gave them British independence. Should I do Tarkovsky to Mings / I just think that's a luxury move and it's not worth it, mate. Just keep the transfer. Fair enough, Wing, if you've got a feeling. I personally prefer Matoma. Yeah, I'd keep Ben Chilwell. Oh yeah, of course. He says don't trust the 12:30 kickoff. Of course, famously said that. I wasn't with you then, Barmy Army, obviously. Johnny, pleasure, mate. Have to start 3 in defence, and it's between Henry, Trippier, Estupinian, Ben White. I would bench Ben White. Yeah, Ben White. Steele or Ramsdale? Steele. Okay, if you hold Shaw, you have to start Tarkovsky. I'd sell Shaw then. Sell Shaw. He's not going to play until game week 33. Just sell him, then you can buy him back. I'd probably sell Shaw. And should I keep Watkins and Kane? If not, oh yeah, definitely. I think they're both great options this week. I think Watkins is a captaincy shout if you don't have Haaland. Daction, if you're still watching. I've done Matoma now. I'm flip-flopping. I'm saying Shaw's not going to play, mate, because he did his hamstring in the last game. I don't think he's going to be risked next week because Man United have a perfectly good backup in Malacia. I don't think he's going to play this week. And yeah, he blanks in 32, so that would suggest he's not back until 33. Sure. Who should we get Shaw out for then? Do you have Estupinian? Because you could buy him. I quite like Chilwell, especially if you're free hitting in 32. No, I wouldn't be selling Tony for Isaac, mate. I think that's a bad move. You're selling a player that's definitely going to start this week to one that might not, so I don't like that. We have no free hit. Oh, that's really tough. It's really tough. Yeah, Estupinian blanks in 32 as well. God, I'd probably do Tarkowski to a Villa defender then. I'd probably do Tarkowski to a Villa defender. Take your pick, really. I don't really have a preference. Just pick the one you like. I don't really have a preference on Villa defenders. It's probably the way to go. Number 1 in the world in FPL, this dude. Well, he's not number 1 anymore, but he's in the top 5. He was saying that his reason he was there was Tyrone Mings, pretty much, so... Thank you, Wingmate. I appreciate that. Yeah, everyone hit the like button, please. I'll stick around for like 10-15 minutes afterwards for just some general chit-chat if anyone wants to ask me some completely random questions. I've already spoken about toilets and bum guns and all sorts before, so I'm happy to chat about anything, really. You're bringing in Mings, Ben. Oh, mate. Mings is great for bonus, is he? No problem, James. You're very, very welcome. I'm having a look at that, Ben. I'm going to remember you saying you're bringing in Tyrone Mings. He's never a player I'd consider in Sky, just in general. Sorry to shit in your sandwich, if that's the right terminology. Let's have a look. Holy shit, he does, yeah. Mings hits passing tier. When did that start happening? Yeah, he does alright, doesn't he? Yeah, I didn't realise that Mings was hitting bonus. I rate that. Hidden little gem there. Mr. Knight, I'm not sure I rate that because Estupinian blanks in 32. As would everyone, Ben, I think. Mings over Botman? Yeah, Mings over Botman, I reckon. You're fine, Brisky. Rate it. Go for it. I think that's the sensible transfer for your team. Rolled in most of the fan teams, over half, all the half-season games, one was Shaw on the bench. I know these defenders play it fine. Honestly, mate, I'm in 47th in a season-long game, right? And I put that entirely down to basically rolling my transfer every week. Should I get Haaland in for Tony, Martinelli for Bruno, so I can afford to Haaland? -4, really want Haaland. I've been saying it to everyone, mate, and I'm sorry this kind of goes against your feeling, but I probably wouldn't take a hit for Haaland, but if in your mind you're absolutely desperate to get him in, and importantly, you're going to free hit in 32, I think you should do it. Because you'll kick yourself if you don't bring him in and he does well. But if you're not free hitting in 32, I'd urge you to really think about it. Because Haaland blanks in 32, so you're taking a hit for a player that in 2 weeks' time doesn't play. Hopefully that I feel like that's rational bit of rational advice there, mate. It's not, yeah, I don't really have a hard feeling about it, but I probably wouldn't take a hit for Haaland. But if you have a hard feeling about betting him in and getting loads of points out of him, then you probably should take a hit. Yeah, if you're new along and you're enjoying the stream, please subscribe to the Golden Goal channel and leave a like rating. I'd really appreciate having you around for the long term. Yeah, I'll do a deadline stream every week. I'm going away at the end of April, so I won't be able to do a live stream on the last weekend of April. But other than that, I'll be doing one of these every week. And yeah, I crack up 2 or 3 FPL videos a week too, so I'd be very happy to have you along. And I'm also doing another stream, I haven't plugged this yet. I'm doing another stream on Sunday evening, just reacting to the game week and the chaos that might be about to ensue. You're definitely going to be hiding behind the sofa then, Ben. I think it could work out fine for you, though. But yeah, you'll be hiding behind the sofa for sure. Who's going to be your captain today, by the way, Ben? Are you going Rashford? Yeah, just keep Tony this week. The only reason you need to sell Tony is when he actually gets banned. Because he just score against anyone, can't he? Thomas Griffiths, would you play McAllister or Felix? My God, that's so tough. I'd probably play Felix. But, in fact, it's coin flip time. McAllister, Felix. That was McAllister, wasn't it? Yeah, I like Watkins as captain, to be fair, Ben. The coin flip, Thomas Griffiths says McAllister. 201 votes on the poll now. It's nice to see. Everyone's going pretty much for Haaland. Associate, someone else was considering Brennan Johnson. I think it's worth a go. I probably wouldn't captain him, but I wouldn't be against you starting him. Yeah, Beezy, I've got the same call. You can see that on my screen. I've gone Matoma so far. But I was yo-yoing and flip-flopping. I'm on Matoma. Barmy Army, I think that's a sign to captain him if I were you. Unless you're top. If you're top, don't do it. But if you're not top and trying to get top, then do it. We're getting there with the deadline now, aren't we? 3 minutes to go. Here for any last minute questions. Should he play Batman instead of White? I definitely prefer Botman to White, mate. I also prefer Batman to White too. But I think you mean Botman, so yeah, Botman over White. I like that. If you like Rashford, then captain Rashford. I guess I was just giving you an option to be a bit different. March or Martinelli? I'd probably favour Martinelli over March. It depends who you've got associate. I would play him over both. I would play him over McAllister and probably March if you've got a feeling about him. I'm obviously starting Matoma, as you can see in my team. Should I captain Rashford, Kane, Watkins or Tony? It's Rashford or Watkins for me of those four. It'd be your favourite out of Rashford and Watkins. I wouldn't really want to tell you who to captain out of those two, to be honest. That's all right, BZ. Glad I could help. Leave a like rating if I helped and subscribe. I'd appreciate that. Oh, Tony. He's on pens. Tony. Just. Good man. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I would start Tony out of those two. He's just the more reliable player. Plays 90 minutes and he takes the penalties. I'd probably start Tony. I know obviously everyone's worried about the ban, but that doesn't affect the single game this week that he's got. So I'd probably start Tony. Oh, I don't think Kane. He's up there every week for expected points, but I don't think he's a captain for me this week. And there's the deadline. Ben, it's done. It's done, Ben, but I'd be starting Tony. The deadline's done, Brisky, I'm afraid, mate. It's passed. Your team is locked. I'm just going to tweet out my team a sec. I'm around for any questions or general chit chat, by the way. Well done, associate. I like that. I'm just going to tweet my team a sec. Well, see if this dude got any Man City team news. There you go. Deadline's hit. Twitter is @GoldenGoalFF. You'll see it down there in a second. Be one of these. And also Tom Hartnell FF, which you can see there. That's my personal one, but I'm trying to use Golden Goal a bit more. Yeah, Haaland's my captain in Sky, pal. Haaland is my captain in Sky, Ben. In fact, you can have a look at my Sky team. I don't really show it on stream too much. Have a look at it if you like. Just putting on another screen so you don't see my Sky Bet login and steal all my money. You never know who's watching. Oh, thank you, associate. I've probably been doing them for a couple of months. Not very long at all, to be fair. I started like November time. I really enjoy doing them as well. It's just nice to interact with people, mate. It's like being in a room full of other people. Yeah, I appreciate you being along, mate. There's my team, Ben. There's all my team in all its glory and all its transfers remaining and all that jazz. Mr. Blanky, I am unfortunately a dirty two-team supporter. I know. I live in Bristol, not too far away from Ashton Gate, which is the Bristol City Stadium. And my dad is a Bristol City fan, so he took me along to some games. So I am a Bristol City season ticket holder, but I also follow Man United. Yeah, two teams. Sorry. I feel like it's my right to do what I want, so I support Man United and Bristol City and don't apologise for it. What about you, Blanky? Who do you support? I'm intrigued. I'm going to sit a bit more comfortably now for this part. I'm going to put my feet up. There you go. Let's go for that screen, shall we? There's me and my to-do list. Look, that's my video plans. Yeah, I'm a Bristol City and Man United supporter for my troubles. The two teams seem to have success together. The last time Bristol City, last time Man United won the league, Bristol City were really good. And yeah, it seems like they go well together with their wins. It's fair enough. Yeah, it is quite a forest looking one. It also looks a bit like Where's Wally as well. So I'm conscious when I walk into the ground, I look like I'm trying to be Where's Wally. It is very Where's Wally vibes, isn't it? What does it look like if I squint? Yeah, I guess it does. I don't know what the Liverpool scarves look like as well. Oh, Liverpool. But yeah, it might be similar to that as well. It was when we played Man City earlier in the season, well, not very long ago, in the FA Cup, and on every seat, the owners kindly gave us all a free scarf. Nice one, associate. Do you think you lot are going to stay up? What do you reckon? I definitely don't think they should sack Steve Cooper. I just think, unfortunately, they're victims of bringing in so many new players that... so many new players. So I was just laughing at your comment then, Ben. That it's just so hard to integrate a team of so many new players, isn't it? Like, you remember when QPR went absolutely mad, like bought Loic Remy and loads of different players? They went down that year, despite spending like hundreds of millions. And I think the same might happen. Well, I think there are worse managers. Sorry, I think other teams are in worse positions than Forest, so they'll probably stay up. I agree on Steve Cooper, mate. I don't think really there's any manager in the world that could bring in so many new players and integrate them into a really well-oiled team. So I agree. That says a lot, doesn't it? Even if you get relegated, you still want him. I think if Forest went relegated, you're in real trouble though, aren't you? You need to go back up immediately. You do think you'll be relegated, do you? That's a shame. I don't think so. I think it'd be Leeds, Southampton. Let's see. I'm going to look at the league table a sec. So I'm on my phone. I'm looking at the league table just to... In fact, I can do it on a screen share, can't I? Doubting Haaland's hard. I'm sure it is, mate. He's the best player in the Premier League. He's going to break the scoring record. I'm sure it is hard. Oh, right, okay. Yeah, that's fair. If it's the remaining fixtures and stuff. What's the table like at the moment then? Oh. Well, I'll do this sec. I want to vote in the Hall of Fame. Three players on that list. Sorry, lads. I'm excited about my vote. This is going to be very biased. I think you got to go John Terry, despite being a United fan. I like Andy Cole as well, with that lot. Vidic, Terry, Andy Cole. What do you guys think? Michael Owen, fuck off. He didn't even win the league, mate. I know he won the Ballon d'Or, but he's only good for 2 years, and then he pinged his hamstring. Andy Cole's nearly top of the Premier League scoring list, and he never took a penalty in his life. Nemanja Vidic won God knows how many more Prems than Michael Owen did, and John Terry's probably the best English centre-back we've ever had. I think he might be better than Ferdinand. I hate to say it. Yeah, but his career only lasted about 2 years, mate. I'm submitting that. We're going to look at the table. Have a look yourselves. Have a vote in the Hall of Fame yourselves, lads. See what you think. God, that is just... At 11th is Chelsea. Chelsea could go down. No, I'm only joking. It's off that list, isn't it, of teams to go down? Ooh. I think Southampton are down, unfortunately. Yeah, I think it might be Southampton, Forest, Bournemouth, you know. I think you might be right, associate. I'm sorry to say. No, I'm gonna do the Hall of Fame vote in a different browser as well, because I can. Oh no, it won't let me. There we go. I can vote again. Look, Michael Owen's not gonna get voted again, mate. I'm gonna troll. I'm gonna change it. Because I feel like he deserves some respect. And he deserves some respect too. Neville. Oh. We'll do that. Have a vote, lads. Oh, it won't let me submit. Maybe it knows that I'm cheating. Leave it there. Yeah, I think it's probably going to be full Forest, Bournemouth, Southampton, isn't it? The thing for me, as a season ticket holder for a championship team, the 3 teams going down this year from the Premier League are going to be the 3 strongest teams to like ever be relegated in history. The championship is going to be ridiculous next season. Obviously, Southampton will have to get rid of James Ward-Prowse. He's a really interesting transfer actually for any team that gets him. I think he's a much better player than he gets credit for. I genuinely think he's a top 6 level player. Maybe Tottenham should go for him. Tottenham should buy Ward-Prowse and Maddison, I reckon. I don't see Leicester going down, although it'd be funny if they did. Could you imagine the quality of those players in the Championship? It's unbelievable. I'll stick around for another 5 minutes or so. Feel free to ask me anything. It doesn't have to be football related. Interested to know what you guys are up to this weekend as well. Easter weekend, isn't it? 4 days off for most of us. That's true, but I really like Tielemans, Ndidi. I think Suter's a good player. I think James Justin's a good player. You're right though. It's probably quite bleak, isn't it? What car has she gone for, associate? I was very fortunate. I had a hand-me-down Mini. I had a new shape 2002 Mini Cooper as my first car, which was absolutely amazing until I looked at an insurance quote, and it was £3,000 to insure it. So I had to go with a black box, which was a bit of a shame for the first year, but I absolutely love that car. Up-and-coming player to watch at the moment. I'm going to be very biased, mate, as a Bristol City fan. But we've got a young English centre midfielder called Alex Scott, who's really good. And I think he's destined to be as good, if not better, than someone like Phil Foden. I genuinely think he's that good. Or Jude Bellingham. He'll be of that level. So yeah, Alex Scott, mate. Have a look at him. Fiat 500, lovely first car, mate. The good thing about a Fiat 500 is that it's very easy to park. I do like my cars though. I could talk about cars all day. I've got a Toyota GT86 is my car. The best player I've ever seen live was the Bristol City Man United game, and I saw Kevin De Bruyne. He side-footed it in from 30 yards out, right in front of me. So yeah, I've got to say it's Kevin De Bruyne. I've never been to watch Man United, but don't tell anyone. Basically, it's almost impossible to get a ticket, and I don't want to do it on my own. So no one's wanted to go with me so far. But it's my birthday coming up next month, so, you know, if anyone wants to drop me a cheeky birthday present. I'm joking. Don't do that. You want to do a quiz, do you? Did you find a football quiz? Name a football team that starts with a vowel. Arsenal. There you go. Easy, mate. I need something harder than that. Just flashing up my team. In fact, I'll go on. You can see my mug in full screen. There you go. What does one constant mean? A consonant, Carol. Man United, mate. The greatest team the world has ever seen. That's probably Real Madrid, isn't it, really, in hindsight, but yeah. Screw Liverpool, man. Screw Liverpool. Starts with 2 consonants. Ooh. Ooh, that's tough, isn't it? Crawley's nailed it already. I was going to say Shrewsbury. Shrewsbury Town, mate. Chuck that one in there. Three consonants. Is that even a thing? Is that possible? Is there a word that starts with 3 consonants, let alone a team? Other than, there's probably a Welsh one, isn't there? Cumbran. There you go. Yeah. That's 4 consonants. That's 5 even. There's only 1 vowel in the whole word. I think Cumbran's right, isn't it? There you go. Yeah. Yeah, see? Look at that. I don't know about their football team, though. I don't know what league they play in, but yeah. I think that's in the Valleys as well. I was in the Valleys this week for work, actually. I had to go to a site in Ebervale. It was very foggy and rainy. That's my description. They're not in the league. What league have they got to be in then? The Football League? The top 4 leagues? I don't think that exists, is it? Have you got the answer? I give up. I'm not going to be able to think of that, I'm afraid. If you've got an answer to that question, then fair play. I am not going to be able to. I'm not able to answer that. Mate, your consonant questions, I do not know the answer to this. I've no idea now. That's fine. It's funny. Keep going. I'd be intrigued to know what the actual answer is, though, because I don't know the answer to that. I'm enjoying your what you call a stupid, pointless quiz, mate. It's no problem. I don't think it's stupid or pointless at all, but I'm lost. I don't know the answer. Everton, mate. There's 2 E's in it. Crystal Palace. Yeah, that's fair. Plymouth, yeah, Plymouth. Mate, you can't have Everton. It starts with a vowel. Oh, I see. Okay. Because that was the order of your question. So your first question was a vowel. Okay. Why didn't I think of Crystal Palace? Why didn't I think of Crystal Palace? Yeah, okay, I completely get you. I'm just having a scroll of Twitter to see if anyone sent me any lineups or anything. I don't think so. Has anyone got any Man City news yet? I don't think anything's been tweeted, has it? All right, folks. I think I might end it there soon. Yeah, I've got my free hit left, mate. I'm going to play it in 32. But yeah, I think I'm going to end the stream there because I'm getting a bit hungry. So I'm going to go for a little stroll in the sun because I've barely left the flat this morning because obviously I've been streaming for nearly 3 hours. And yeah, I'm going to go for a walk and make some lunch. Yeah, hope you all have a great Easter weekend and do really well in FPL. Arrows are green and all that jazz, and your transfers pay off. It was lovely to have you all along, interacting in the chat. I really enjoy it. So yeah, cheers. Have a good weekend, everyone. And I'll catch you on Sunday. I'm doing a reaction stream. It's a new thing. Basically, I always have training on a Sunday evening, so I can never actually have the free time to do it. But yeah, I think 6:30 Sunday evening, I'll be live to react to the game week. So yeah, stick around to the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'll chat to you on Sunday.